up? Welcome back to my channel or to my channel if this is your first time watching. And welcome to a very impromptu live. It has been the busiest week ever, you guys. Christmas is right around the corner, and your girl got a really late start. So I'm just now really getting Christmas things going and trying to make Christmas happen, if you feel me. And it's been a busy week. So, unfortunately, I've not been able to put out as much content as I usually do. And there's a lot that's happened this last week. So, I decided why not just hop on a live? We can recap everything and kind of just, talk about it all because it is a lot. It's a lot that's happened in the last week or so, and we're going to kind of chit chat about it. If you've seen the thumbnail, that's just kind of an idea of the things we're going to talk about. Um, my baby is up. I've been trying to get her to lay down for a nap, so you may hear the baby in the background. Hashtag mom life. It is what it is, you guys. She always, whenever I'm going to go do a live or anything like that, she will almost always get up. She wants to have the attention like 24/7. And if she doesn't have the attention, man, she's not happy. So I'm going to share everything over real quick, and then I'll turn to the chat and we'll chit chat just for a few minutes, and then we'll get into the live. You guys give me just 1 second. Sorry I'm late too. My mom called me at the very last minute, and I couldn't be rude to my mom. That's my mom, So I'm sorry I'm a minute late, but give me just a second and we'll get into this, you guys. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, you guys. All right, so we are going to be talking about a couple of different things today. If you've seen the thumbnail, we are going to talk about this very questionable story that broke this past week on Jana Duggar. I have a lot of questions. I did do a very quick video yesterday. It was really quick. I tried to get it out before the kids got home. I was kind of in a rush, so I just kind of threw it out there, and then I didn't rewatch it or nothing, which I usually do. I didn't do it this time. And then, like an hour or so later, I went back and watched it, and I just wasn't happy with it. As a creator, you go through that. Sometimes there's videos you put out and you're like, man, this really just isn't it. So I took it down and decided that we would just talk about it today because honestly, I didn't put enough context in there. Like, yeah, I gave all the facts and a little bit of like a brief commentary, but I've got a lot of questions. I have a lot of like thoughts on the situation. So we're going to talk about that. And then briefly, very briefly, we're going to talk about the drama between Ethan Klein and Trisha Paytas, which continues. It's been going on like 7 months now ever since the Frenemies podcast has ended. You guys know it's been a back and forth, back and forth. And last night it kind of came to a head. Shit hit the fan again. So we are going to briefly talk about that and just our thoughts. I want to know what you guys think about that. And then last but most definitely not least, we are going to talk about what happened to Real Entertainment News, you guys. Um, I've seen it everywhere. Everybody's talking about it, and I have a lot of thoughts. So we're going to talk about that as well and kind of get into that at the end of this. So stay tuned. If you can't watch the whole stream, I will put timestamps after the live. I'll probably like either pin it in the comments or something like that. So just stay tuned for that so you can kind of click around to wherever it is that you want to watch. But let me go ahead and turn to the chat here and say what's up to everybody. Okay, let me go back up. Oh, I don't think he's here anymore. This is my hubby, you guys. Hey, hubby. Hope you have a good lunch break. Love you. Tira. Hey, girlfriend. Hey. How's everybody doing today? Are you guys ready for the holidays? I'm not even going to lie about it. I'm not even close to ready. I'm like literally trying to make things happen right now, trying to make Christmas happen last minute. Every year, you guys, it is so stressful. So I kind of had to put the channel on the back burner the last few days, and I've missed you guys so much. I've missed just making content. I've missed it all. I've been doing some stuff here and there in the behind the scenes, but it's just not the same. Not like I usually do. Usually I get up, I'm working y'all from the time I get up, from the time I go to bed. No joke. Hey, hey BTU, what's up? Thank you for being here. The Dark Musician. Hello, hello. Thank y'all for being here. Um I hope you guys are having a great week. This week has sped by so fast. I looked at the calendar yesterday. I thought I still had like a good 3 weeks before Christmas. Y'all, where have I been? Like I looked at the calendar because the kids get out tomorrow and I was like, wow, they're getting like a big break. That's how it felt. Because it still felt like it was like the beginning of December. And here we are, it's the freaking 16th of December. How did that happen? That's the real question. Um, and I'm being so real about that. Like, I did not realize so much time has went by. So, all right. So we're gonna talk about this Jana Duggar thing first. This is questionable to me for quite a few reasons. So when I first heard about this story, it broke last week, right after the Duggar trial, you guys, literally the day after this story came out on Jana Duggar. And for those of you who don't know, she was charged with, or she got a citation for child endangerment in the third degree. And I read this whole article from the Ashley Roundup. This is really questionable, you guys, really questionable. I read this whole article from the Ashley Roundup, which is where it's a big source of mine. I use it for a lot of my information when it comes to reality TV stuff and some social media stuff too. and I read it and it was kind of going through it all. So on September 10th is when all of this happened. I'm going to give you guys a rundown and I want your honest opinion on the situation. So Jana is, I believe, one of the only children, maybe the only child or sibling that does not have a family of her own. And she kind of has been certified as the live-in babysitter. Everybody in the family uses Jana as the babysitter, and she constantly is watching the kids. She, since a young age, the way that family is, the structure, the way everything works there, she's been raising kids since she was a kid. You know what I'm saying? She helped raise her own brothers. Now she's raising nieces, nephews, the whole 9 yards. Well, on September 10th, apparently, allegedly, she was watching some children. We do not know how many. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of context here. We do not know. There's a lot of rumors, but there's always a lot of rumors, right? Like anything to do with the internet is going to have rumors. This is no exception for real. So the child got out of the house. The child was left unattended. The child got out of the house. A little bit goes by. We don't know how long or anything, which is another question I have. How long was the child gone? Like, there's a lot of questions. But a passerby from the road seen the child on the side of the road and called the police. And the police, came out there and gave her a citation. She did make a statement over on Instagram explaining the situation. She said that the police were really, really understanding. They realized that this was just one of those situations where a child slips out, quickly. Kids do get out quickly. You got to keep your eyes on them. They'll get out quickly. And she said that the cops were really understanding of that. She did get a citation, as I stated before, child endangerment, or yeah, a child endangerment thing. And she has to go to court on January 10th, which is my birthday, oddly enough. And yeah, so it is to kind of be unfolding. I'm sure there'll be more that comes out during the court date, all of that stuff. But here's the thing about it. In the article that I read, it said that the child was found over half a mile away from the home. Okay. Jana Duggar's statement over on Instagram says that it happened really quick. It was a very quick. The child got out, you know, she turned her back for a second. That's literally what she said. She's like, I turned my back for a minute and the child slipped out. Like I said, there is a lot of context here that we do not know. But as a mother, okay, which is the first, like, I have very mixed emotions about this. As a mother, I can relate, right? I've had my own situations. I've had two different situations where I was locked out of my house because I went outside for a second. The first time I went to go check the mail, and my son locked me out, and he locked the door, but he was still too young to unlock the door. So I'm sitting here at the front door, like trying to coax him, come on, baby, unlock the door, just twist it the opposite way. You just twisted it. And I can hear him in there, like frantically, like getting upset. I can't. And so I ended up having, thankfully, my mom was there with me. I ended up having to go, back through the window. And the second time was with my baby, my daughter, and she did the same thing. I'd stepped outside to take the trash out, and the same situation happened. So that time I ended up having to get the neighbors to help me. So, um, yeah. So I can understand from that aspect, right? Hey, Jamie, thank you for being here. I can understand from a mother's point of view, things do happen, kids do slip away, and it's really, really, it happens. It happens from a mother's point of view. I can relate to that. But the reason I have mixed emotions about this is if the information that's put out is true, right? The child got over a half a mile away from the home. In my, like, from my point of view, from my thought process, that's more than just a minute. In her statement, she says, I turned my back for a minute. They make it sound in the articles and everywhere like this was more than just a minute. You know what I'm saying? And I believe, and I know I'm going to get heat for this, but I believe that some type of repercussion is warranted because, yes, thank God the kid was okay. Thank God, right? But what if it had went a different way? What if, she has a lot of people supporting her through this. I do think it's unfair in a lot of senses. I think that this doesn't just fall on her. I believe that the way the structure of that family is really confusing and it's unfair, and they take advantage of her. They use her. That family, all of these people have been through a lot. All the siblings have been going through a lot. Jana is no exception. She's stressed out, she's overwhelmed, but yet she's still having to raise everybody's kids, take care of everybody's kids while they're going to court and going and doing this and going and doing that because she's the family babysitter. It's like she's not allowed a day off. Now, there's been rumors saying that she was asleep. All of this is speculation, so I can't say it's a fact, okay? But there has been rumors that she was asleep. Um, if that's the case, I mean, I don't know, so I'm not going to speak on it because I don't know. But what we do know is that the child was found over a half a mile away from the home, beside on the side of the road. So it's like, even though it was a mistake and it's understandable, mistakes happen, accidents happen with kids, that I can relate to. And I also believe it is unfair what's happening to her. I really do think it's unfair that they expect so much out of her, right? And she's not allowed a day off. If she said, like, the way that their structure is and their rules, if she says, no, I can't today, I'm stressed, I'm overwhelmed, that's disobeying, and that's a sin, right? That's the way they're raised. So that's not an option for her. And it does break my heart that she doesn't feel like she can stand up and say, hey, this ain't cool. I think that's sad. My heart breaks for her. But at the same time, when it comes to the child's safety, he could have literally died. You know what I'm saying? He didn't, thank God, but he could have. So, because of that, do you believe? Let me ask you guys, because that's really what's important. what you guys think. Do you believe that it was handled correctly and that there should have been repercussions? Like, she should have gotten a citation and she should have to go to court for this? Or do you think that this was just an innocent mistake and that there shouldn't be any repercussions for it? I'm so on the fence about it because I can see both sides. Someone else brought to my attention, the simple fact of this is going to be on her record, the CPS case, because they did have afterwards welfare came out, welfare came out, checked the home, all of that afterwards as well. And someone had made the comment, this is going to be on her record forever that she had this open CPS case. So when she does go to have her own family, that's going to be there. And that doesn't look good when you start having your own kids. And I can understand that as well. But man, over a half a mile, like, that seems a bit extreme to me. If it was, like, just literally just a second, the kid had got out into the front yard or, something like that, I get it. But over a mile away from the home on the side of the road, and this is also just a speculation, but at my motherly instincts tells me we don't know what age the child is or anything like that. But I believe, my personal opinion, the child was young, because from a mother standpoint, like my 2-year old would do something like that because they don't know right or wrong. You know, they don't know, oh, this can hurt you, things like that. Even my 5-year old, maybe even my 5-year old would. I don't know. I don't think she would. She's really smart, but there's a possibility. But my 8-year old, my 8-year old wouldn't do that. He knows you get close to the road, you could get run over. It's dangerous. He knows you don't go outside when mama's in anywhere. You don't go outside without telling somebody. You don't He knows these things. So that leads me to believe that the child was younger as well, which is even scarier, this young child on the side of the road. So when it comes to that side of things and the child's safety, I believe the right thing was done. A lot of people are upset about it because Janet is such a sweet girl. And this doesn't mean she's not a sweet girl, like, people make mistakes. None of us are perfect. I'm not sitting here bashing her or dragging her for it, but I do believe that repercussions being put into place was the right thing. That she needs to know, in the future, whatever, this can't happen, like a slap on the wrist or whatever. I think it's warranted. But let's see what you guys think. Let's see here. Tira said, I know nothing about the Duggars, but a sister getting a child case now too. Yeah, yeah. I wanted to talk about it. It's been really, a lot of people feel, like I said, because she's so kind and she's so non-problematic and so sweet, and just the way that she gets used in that family, it does irritate me. And I do think that there is some responsibility on the parents in this situation too, because she doesn't even have any kids. She's raising everybody else's kids, taking care of everybody else's kids. And I'm sure, she loves doing that and loves being with her nieces and nephews and everything like that. But this situation with Josh and the trial and everything, that family's been through so much. That she's stressed and overwhelmed. She's going through a lot, and to like continue piling on top of that or expecting her to watch her children or whatever constantly all the time, because it's an all the time thing. She has multiple kids, like more than 3, and it's a lot. Even if you're in a great mental headspace, having multiple children to look after is a lot. So my heart goes out to her. It breaks for her that all of this happened and that the media has sensationalized it the way that they have. There's been so many rumors. Apparently, or allegedly, Jim Bob, her father, is the one who even broke this story, according to, tabloids and the rumor mill online. Her dad is the one that broke this and like exposed this, leaked it out to the media to try to get attention off of Josh and the trial and everything. And I could see him doing that. That's the sad part. I'm not going to say it's true, but that's what people are saying because, he's chosen to support his son Josh over his daughters multiple times in some very serious situations. So, why wouldn't he leak a story like that to get attention off of Josh? I don't know. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. Let's see. Jamie said, hold on. Jamie said, I work in my computer. So I work in crisis management in the early childhood education field, and stuff like this happens more than people know. A child left unattended, or a teacher falls asleep at nap time, etc. I'm sure it does. And does it always? I mean, I don't know if you would know this part or not, Jamie, but does it usually end with like a citation? Like, is that a normal route to take, or does nothing usually come of it? Um, That's kind of my question. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Tira. Like that's my thing about it. I was so and I'm still understanding because a couple people I shared my opinion on it. A couple people got heated about it. Like I said, I'm not dragging her. I would never, stuff happens. But when I heard that over a mile away from the house, or over half a mile away from the house, and on like literally on the side of the road, plus I've heard some other stuff too on top of that. It just makes you say, okay, after reading her statement, which sounds very much different, it was just a second. I turned my head for just a second, yada, yada, yada. It's very much of a different story. It doesn't add up in my head, And so that's kind of where I stand with it. And I just wanted to get y'all's opinions on it. I basically said this in my video, but when it comes to children, I do have a soft spot for kids. Not going to lie, I do. And topics like this that deals with children or the safety of children, it's always really like a sensitive topic. And so after watching my video, I kind of felt like maybe I came off a little too insensitive towards the situation when it comes to Jana because I know a lot of people support her, but y'all, like I stand with what I said. As understanding as I am about this situation, as much as my heart goes out to her, at the same time, shit like this can't happen. This is dangerous. Something horrible could have happened to that baby. And my whole thing is if something would have happened to the child, God forbid it, but if it had, would everyone's support for her had changed? Would everybody's, you know, outlook on her change then? That's kind of where I stand with it. Um but so that's basically all I really have to say about that part. Let's see here. Jane said that would have taken a while for the child to have gone that far without Jana knowing. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying, Jane. That's how I feel about it. Before when the story first broke, just a second, that happens all the time. It happens to me, not my kids like running out the door into the road or anything like that. But all the time, I turn my back, the baby's got a marker marking all over the walls, you know what I mean? Or, trying to stick her finger in an outlet or just whatever. It happens. It happens. And you have to watch them like a hawk. And then I can only imagine, I don't know how many kids she had on that particular day, but I'm sure she had her hands full. You know, the biggest issue here is when the story was leaked, there wasn't a lot of context. So people started adding in context. And at this point, you don't know what's true and what's not because the article I read, it's gone. It's been detracted. Of course, there's more articles now, but that's kind of questionable to me. Like you put this out, you put all this information out, and a few days later it's gone. Is it because they received a backlash? Is it because the information wasn't factual? What is it? So before I hopped on here, I did check a few other articles to see what's what. And that's when I seen, all this other stuff. Her dad's the one that supposedly leaked this story. she was taking a nap and the baby got out, just stuff like that. And for me, it's the rumor mill online. You guys, you never know what's true and what's not. And honestly, it leaves me with more questions at the end of the day than the story itself. Let's see here. Um, Things happen all the time with the kiddos, but my little guy would not get half a mile away from home. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel. Like if my kid's quiet for 2 seconds, I know something's up. If they're not sleeping and and the house is silent, I get that motherly instinct, and I jump up and I know. So it does make me wonder if she was asleep. I don't know. She didn't say anything about being asleep in her statement, so I'm not gonna speculate too much. But yeah, that's what's being said. She was sleeping, she had fell asleep or whatever. And I think that goes back to her being exhausted mentally, physically, and that is heartbreaking. I hate that. Um, but like I said, the way that family runs and the way that they were raised, they're constantly asking her, "Hey, can you keep the kids so I can do this or that or whatever?" And she doesn't feel like she has the right to say, "No, I don't feel good today." And that's the saddest part of all, I think. The fact that she doesn't feel like she can do that because that's her being selfish, which is a sin. That's her, being disobedient, which is a sin. And those are the types of things you can't do in that family. Their whole structure, in my opinion, and we're not even going to get into religion or anything like that, but it is very, very odd to me, I guess you could say. But yeah, I was just kind of seeing how everyone else felt about it. Cause like I said, I shared my opinion over on Instagram. I put that video out and, I got a little bit of hate, not hate, but people disagreeing. And I can understand why, because she is such a sweet person and she's so kind and not, problematic at all. So it is sad, but at the same time, you can't do things like this. Jamie said for sure she needed repercussions. I think it will set an example in their family. Even though they have fame and money, child endangerment is still child endangerment. Amen, Jamie. I agree. This is my stance on it. And not just towards Jana, but any other situation like this as well. I think it is important. I think the law did their job and did it the right way. Do I think she deserves to go to jail for it? I don't know. I don't think so. But there has to be some sort of repercussions. And that's for the, judicial system to figure out if they believe, I don't think that's going to happen. More than likely, she'll have to pay a fine or something like that. But we'll see. I will continue to follow it, you guys, for anyone interested in it, and keep you guys up to date with what happens with the court date. Like I said, it's on my birthday, which is so weird gonna be 31 years old, you guys. I'm getting so old. What? 31? I'm gonna stay on the fence myself. DCFS is touchy for me, but trouble is okay. Full blown case. I mean, fence. Yeah. And I don't blame you, Tara. I do not blame you at all. And that's how I am. You know what I mean? Like, um, they did they blah, blah, blah. DCFS did come out. I believe they shut the case though. They came out, did a home visit, and they see nothing wrong. The child was not harmed or anything like that. She did get the citation. She's got to go to court, all of that. I don't think she's a horrible person. I don't think she cannot be trusted now because of this, but I do think that she was overwhelmed. She's got a lot going on in her life. And because of that, she wasn't up to par. Mentally and physically, she's just not in a good place right now. And she shouldn't be having to take care of kids. That, in my opinion, kind of falls on the parents as well. It's not just her at fault because we're human, we all make mistakes, but they didn't even ask her. If you know what I'm saying, like as a sister or brother or whatever, in a time like what that family's going through, I think it's important to make sure that everybody in your family's doing okay. This family's been through a lot. Um, and, they're constantly in the media for something, and it's never anything good. And that takes a toll. The backlash, the constant hate, whether it's warranted or not, right? It is a lot for anybody, and they're no exception to that, and Jen is no exception to that. So I do hate to see the way that the media is sensationalizing it, but at the same time, any situation to that extreme, to that extent, I believe deserves a bit of repercussion. There has to be a warning, there has to be something, because a child's life is, the child's safety is important. It just is. And as much as we all make mistakes and we all are human, we have to own our stuff. Even me, if it had been me, same situation, I have to own that mistake. That is my mistake to own, and I need to own it. Same thing with, oh, yeah, let's see here. Why don't we know? Okay, hold on. Why don't we know the age of the child? If they were 8 or 10, they were being naughty. If it's a 2-year old, she effed up. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Not having enough context. That's another thing I hate. And that's another reason why I didn't put the video up, because, or, I put it up, but I deleted it because I was like, there's just not enough context here. And it just gave me a bad vibe, because all these media outlets, you can get caught up in the story, and you can get caught up with covering what this media outlet said, or breaking news, but there's just not enough context there. And that's the thing too, is like, that's why I said a lot of this is just speculation, lots of questions. That's one of my biggest questions. How old was the child? Like I said, my motherly instinct tells me it was a younger child, but that is just speculation. I could be completely wrong. But why was those facts not put out? If you're going to put out a story like that, you need to have the facts, honey. That's how I feel about it. You need to be able to say, what was Jana doing? Was she sleeping? How did the kid get out? How old was the child? Where, I don't know. Maybe that's how I feel about it. But if you're going to cover those types of stories and break those types of stories, I think it is important to have the facts, because if you don't, people go crazy wild with speculation, putting out false information, and before you know it, you don't know what's true and what's not. And that's kind of how this story is. What we know is that she got a citation on September 10th for child endangerment on the 3rd degree. That is what we know. She has a court date on January 10th. Um, and that's what we know. That's all we know. The child was found on the side of the road. Somebody driving by called the law. Um, so from that, these are kind of just my opinions, my speculations, my thoughts on the situation. It is sad. My heart goes out to her and the whole family, because I know it's a lot right now. And then for this to all come out the day after the Duggar trial, you guys, Josh gets locked up, and then boom, this story comes out. That's very suspicious to me. I can see why people believe maybe Jim Bob is the one who put that out there. Once again, speculation, but I could see it happening. Let's see. Same thing with real. An example was set. Yes, repercussions were had. Wake up call to all. Amen. And we're going to get into that a little bit more here in just a little bit, Jamie. I do have a lot of thoughts. I agree 10,000% with this comment, though. I really do. Let's see. Okay, so hey Pam, it made it hold on. It made it seem like seconds to her if she is overworked. Yeah, it may have seemed like seconds to her if she is overworked, did fall asleep, was she sick, etc. Blame whoever left her. Yes, 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 ma'am. I agree. This is not all on her by no means whatsoever. And I do believe she was overworked emotionally, maybe even physically. We don't know. So I think it's just a really sad situation. I really do. I so wish they would build her a tiny house or cottage. on the compound so she would have some independence but still be around the family. I agree, Jamie. That's kind of how I feel too. She's not a child, but she's very much treated like a child because she hasn't started her own family yet. And it's sad that she doesn't have any independence. She's not allowed to do anything or even have like a thought process of her own or a voice. And that's the saddest part, I think, when it comes to that family. Of course, I stay in the loop with what's going on with the Duggars, but it is heartbreaking to see the way that girls especially, were raised to not really have a voice until they got married. And then they kind of like, their dad had the voice, and then when they got married, he passed their voice along to the husband. So it's like they never get an identity. And that's a whole nother conversation we can have on another day, you guys. But before we move on from this topic, I do want to say this is breaking news today. I don't know if anyone has released this information yet, but Jim Bob did not win for Senate, you guys. He lost big time. I'm going to put out a short video on this later today. But yeah, he did not do good in office. Votes were not in his favor by no means. And exactly what I said was going to happen. I knew Jim Bob wasn't going to win. If he would have won, I would have been very, very shocked after everything. I really would have been. Oh, this is my mama, I think. It might be, hey, is this my mama? If it is, hey, mama. She's on my stepdad's account, I believe. Um, hey, Claire, how are you? Let's see. Um, yes to the citation and external investigation with CPS, and then we do our own internal investigation to do some kind of corrective action plan, training, termination, etc. I think all of those are wonderful ideas. And I think, as you said, as a family, I think there needs to be more communication there. I, the thing that kind of like threw me off too, and then we'll move on to the next topic, you guys, is her sister Jessa had put out a post, and it wasn't a bad post or anything like that, but she had made the comment in the post that she will continue using Jana as a babysitter. She can trust her kids with Jana, and she doesn't think that Jana did anything wrong. It was an innocent mistake. The child's safe. Everything ended fine. And I understand that, and supporting your sister and letting the public know I trust her. She's good with the kids. All of that's important, but I think that they're missing like the big picture here. Stop expecting her to watch your kids all the time. This is in my opinion, when it comes to Jana, I feel like this was like a cry out for help. Like, somebody listen to me. I'm overwhelmed. I can't, and I could be wrong, but this is what she's been known for forever. Her parents and her siblings have constantly praised her for her child raising skills, and she's not even had her own kids, you guys. Tell me how messed up that is. She hasn't even started her own family, but out of the whole family, she's the one that's most known for her amazing child raising skills. That's unfair. It's not right. And it does make me a little angry. I'm not going to lie. It's not fair to her. I feel like it's an injustice on her in a lot of ways. And it just makes me sad. It makes me sad that she doesn't have a voice because she hasn't married off or started her own family yet. It's unfair, and I don't think it's right. I really don't. So citation can be a resolution if CPS determines the child is safe. Hmm. Determines the child is safe. I think that if it's like a warning, right? Like that's what a citation is. It's like a warning. Like, this time we're going to give you a warning. We're not taking you to jail. We're not whatever, but you're going to have to pay some fees. You're going to have to show up to court and explain your situation. You know, I think that's what it really is. It's like a warning call. Um, So I think that's what I'm saying. I'm so on the fence about it because a part of me is like, I think that this was the right thing to do. But like I said, God forbid it. What if it had a went in the other direction? I don't want to think like that. But, you know, would how would the roles have changed then? Would everybody still be so supportive and been like, this is an innocent mistake? Or would everything have changed? Would their support for her change then? That's kind of where I'm at. It's very, very touchy subject. It's very, 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 very sensitive. So, yeah. All right. Now, the next thing, I'm going to catch up here on the comments and then we're going to move on with the Trisha and Ethan stuff. Did you guys see all of this that happened with Ethan and Trisha last night? Do I have anyone in the chat that follows this mess? Because last night Ethan did a live stream. It was like, oh my goodness, what was it called? Best sound bites of the year. Something, his channel's really known for sound bites. He uses them in every episode. And within that episode, he discussed Trisha and a few very deep things, deep rooted issues he has with Trisha. And, they've been going back and forth for quite some time since Frenemies ended, but the last month or so it's been pretty quiet. And then, of course, Trisha and Moses got married this week. It was supposed to be this happy time. Also happy. I have many thoughts on Trisha, which we're going to get into in just a few minutes. But but I was still happy for her. You know what I'm saying? I was happy for her. I do think everyone deserves happiness, especially if you're, leading a life that you want to live. You're learning, you're growing, trying to be a better person because we can all be better than we were yesterday, right? So I am happy for her, but yeah, we're gonna get into that here in just a second because it's a whole mess, to be honest with you guys. We're gonna talk about it very briefly because um it's just gonna be real short and sweet. Let's see here. I believe this is my mother, you guys. Everybody say hey to my mama. Okay, I have seen this happen before with Larry. He got out and almost to my house, and people, oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry, I didn't mean to scream, y'all. People seen him on the side of the road and they called and told us they seen him. So it is so possible. Yes, actually, very similar situation did happen. My cousin, my first cousin, I think, she has like 6 kids, and her child got out of the house and was on the side of the road. Same situation, not as far away from the house. It was more like not far at all, really, but still on the side of the road. And someone seen him in a diaper, nothing but a diaper, on the side of the road. And like I said, she had 6 kids, so accidents do and I know she's a good mom. You know what I'm saying? I know she's a good mom, but still, in that moment, I was like fearful for my cousin. Um, we of course were like, oh my goodness, what if something horrible had happened to him? That's awful. It's a lesson, and as long as it doesn't happen again and you're doing your job, you're being alert, then it could be a wake-up call. Like I believe Jamie said, um, the citation could have been enough. I don't think CPS or anything got involved in that situation, but we live in like a really small town. But still, I just I don't know, you guys. I really don't know. But I remember that. Thank you for reminding me of that, Mama, because that was crazy. And I love my cousin. I think, like I said, she's an amazing mother. But when that happened, I was so terrified for that baby. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Last thing I will say, if the child was 2, my state follows a 1 to 6 ratio, 1 adult for every 6 kids. Really? So you can't have more than 6 kids? Is that what you're saying? Just making sure that I understand that correctly. Oh, I agree. Jana shouldn't have this case. The parents should have to follow through and not leave her with too many kids. Yes, yes, girlfriend. That's how I feel. That is exactly how I feel. There should have been more, but I get it. She was the one in the care. I just feel like accountability wise, of course she needs to take accountability for it, and I think that that's what this is. Um, even though her story doesn't fully add up, like someone else said, it could have felt like seconds to her. Even if it was like 30 minutes to an hour, who knows? Maybe it felt like seconds to her. She turned her back for a second. So I'm not going to really say anything about that. But either way, she's not the only one that needs to be held accountable in this situation for sure. All right, guys. So Ethan, like I said, last night, Ethan went on his little live stream. And hold on a second before I get into this. I'm going to get the baby some drink real quick, you guys. I'm going to let me see. Let me see. I'm going to put on a 30-second timer, okay? And I'll be right back. I'm just going to get her bottle real quick. Wow, 30 seconds don't last long, does it? Okay, I'm back, guys. Okay, so excuse me. So last night, Ethan went on his little live stream talking about sound bites, all of that. I wish I could pull up clips on here, you guys. Tira's gonna have to help me with all of that because when it comes to live streams, outside of just talking to you guys, it seems like every single time I try to pop something up on here and do it live, it'll break the live up, it'll get real patchy. You guys can't hear me. I'll have to leave the stream and come back in. So Tira's gonna have to give me some tips on all that because she's really good, really, really good with doing all that. And I've been here for going on 2 years, and I still couldn't tell y'all jack squat about a live stream. But anyways, he did his live stream last night, and it was like 4 hours long. Thank goodness somebody in the comments section put timestamps. They always do, and I'm so grateful for that because I ain't got 4 hours to like sit there and watch this crap. But there was these timestamps of exactly when he talked about Trisha. And the reason I even knew about this is I actually seen it. Did anyone see Trisha's video? Does anyone here watch Trisha? Because I seen her video first, and she was extremely upset, hysterical. We've seen this from her many times, but she was very upset, calling Ethan a bully, saying all this stuff. So I went over there, I watched it, seen what happened. He there was a few things that he said where it was like, because here's the thing about it is Trisha is a known troll on the internet, and she's always gotten backlash and hate for it, but that is what has always made her entertaining too, and that's what people have always watched for. So it's like um devil's advocate, I guess you could say, like people love to hate her, you know what I'm saying, and people watch. But since the Frenemies podcast ended, there has been a shift when it comes to Trisha and the way people feel about Trisha. There's been a lot of information and stuff that's happened since then that I believe even fans of Trisha have seen her in a different light and seen the mask slipping, if you know what I mean, and seeing things about her that they just don't like, which isn't anything out of it's nothing unusual. A lot of people has felt that way about Trisha for a long time, but it's different when you start bringing in SA and just different situations. It's different. It hits different, and people feel differently. So her views have not been the greatest. Trisha's been here for going on 15 years. Her views are the lowest they've ever been right now. I've watched Trisha for a good 3 to 4 years myself, And I've, even though there's times where I'm like, can't, can't stand this or I can't stand that, I still watch her because it's entertaining. Some of the stuff she does and the way she talks, I think she can be really funny. Her performances, her trolling sometimes, it can be entertaining. But there's definitely been a shift. There's definitely been a shift. And even myself, I don't catch myself going to watch it anymore. It's like old news at this point. You can look at the thumbnail or the title and you know what you're going to get. And you're like, oh, done seen the same exact video be done 10 times from Trisha. So it's like, you don't even want to waste your time in watching it anymore because at this point, it's getting really old. Here lately, she seems to be trying to turn over a new leaf and she's been all about positivity and affirmations and trying to be a better person, not talking about drama. So last night when she did this video talking about Ethan being very like hysterical, honestly, you know, she talked about it and she went into how she feels like they constantly jab at her. Ethan is a bully. Ethan is a this and a that. He harasses her. He sends hate campaigns her way and does it intentionally, knowing that he's doing it. And I wanted to kind of get y'all's opinions on this as well, because when it comes to Ethan, it's kind of the same thing. Ethan and Trisha are not in day to one another, but the one thing that they do have in common, I believe, is they're both trolls. They're known trolls on the internet. That Ethan is a troll in his own accord as well. He will talk about things that most people will steer clear of, like politics, religion, um, anything problematic. Ethan's going to talk about it. He always rides the fence from, you know, just barely on the line of inappropriate on this side, inappropriate on the other. And he's kind of always right there in the middle. You know what I'm saying? He's very unapologetic for what he does. He's constantly in lawsuits for different things, constantly going after someone very inappropriately, um, says lots of inappropriate things, but there's something about him that's entertaining. I don't think he crosses the line when it comes to, like, he has for sure. He has crossed the line with some of the things he says. But for the most part, I think he's aware that he's trolling and it's very much intentional. And I don't know. I watch him because he does talk about certain topics that a lot of people do steer clear of, and I do like to watch him, but he's problematic, right? He's definitely problematic, and Trisha is too. So to say one is more problematic than the other or vice versa, I think that's how they got their start here, which we're going to talk about this more here as well. But when you start your channel off being problematic and it works for you, you kind of stick with it, right? You stick with it and you continue doing what you're doing because, well, it works for you until it doesn't, right? And then you get your channel took away or you get banned or whatever. Until that happens, it's working for you. So that's what you do. But seeing Trisha break down last night, this is her wedding week. All this stuff has been going on, and she breaks down like this. And it's like, it is kind of sad, right? Because I do think, and people's going to probably say I'm naive, but I do think she's trying to be a better person. Um, I think she has a long ways to go. Not that I'm anything. Hey, Shay, thanks for being here. Oh my goodness, Taco Bell sounds amazing. What did you get? Did you get the gordita crunch? That's my favorite. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up real quick. My 9-year-old is naughty for going half a mile. Oh yeah, I done read that one. See, this is what StreamYard does, you guys. It be messing with me. Let's go down. Jessica, hey Jessica. Thanks for being here. My son sleepwalks, and Sunday night I woke up to him unlocking the door and about to walk outside. I'm still traumatized. I have no idea how I even woke up. See, and that's the thing. And actually, Jessica, I've had similar, not the unlocking the door part, but I've had similar things like that happen where it's like I can be in a dead sleep or completely on the other side of the house, but I get this instinct and it'll wake me up from a dead sleep to go check, or anything, or I'll get this instinct when I'm in the restroom or the laundry room. I'll just get this gut feeling and go look, and every time that mother instinct, it's real. Every time the baby be doing something, you know, um, something for sure. Okay. Yes, Tira. Yes. Okay, I think I got caught up. So, anyways, seeing her upset like that, it was heartbreaking because for me, it was like, even though I know she's very problematic and a lot of people love to hate her, right? Or maybe hate to love her. I don't know, one of the two, whichever. It's still heartbreaking, in my personal opinion, because you could see that this really gets to her. This is like one of those things. And this is just my prediction, you guys. I do believe I don't think Ethan's going to stop talking about her. I think Ethan's going to ride this out for the views because he is constantly clickbaiting titles and doing all of this and that all the time. And I do believe that that is definitely going to happen. I think that she's going to take him out for a lawsuit because he's going to try to ride this out and he's going to keep going, right? And then she's not going to be able to handle it because this mentally really affects her. I don't think I've seen Trisha be like this upset about anything else outside of Ethan. Like, yeah, I've seen her cry on her kitchen floor over Jason and do all this and that, but this is on another level. You can tell this stuff really affects her. And, I'm sure there's going to be people out there saying, well, she deserves it. But I don't think anyone, like, this is a very personal thing. And I've said it from day one. This is one of those situations that should be handled offline, but they're not going to because the both of them, even though they're in their 30s, they're so immature, so they're never going to like deal with this and be adults about it. But they're family now, and it's really sad. Like, instead of dealing with it, you're going to be immature and take it on the internet and talk shit instead of saying whatever it is you want to say to them. And then they both bash each other for that too. Like, Ethan will be like, oh, well, she can't contact me privately and say what she wants to say, but she can get on a video. Well, homie, you do it too, So it's like, who are you to say anything? That's kind of how I feel about it. I think they're both very hypocritical in that way. And I do think that I think Adam McIntyre said this once. It feels like a situation that we shouldn't even be a part of as viewers. We shouldn't be seeing this shit go down or being talked about. If Ethan feels some type of way, he should be telling Moses and Trisha and vice versa. I don't think it's fair. It does, gosh, I know somebody's going to say something about it, but it does seem a little obsessive to me. And I like Ethan, I like his content, but it's just constantly, even when Trisha's just living her life and doing her thing, Ethan is constantly like either making little jabs and jokes about her or, or, talking about her in general. And I get that this is personal, and with the wedding and them not being invited, I'm sure there's a lot of hurt feelings there. And then his big thing that he was talking about in that live was the fact that she borrows, that's not the right word. She goes through cultures and religion like it's a trend, not like she doesn't take it serious, right? And that's when she's sitting there doing like her Jewish stuff and her little TikToks and doing all the things she does, it's very offensive to Jews and other religions that she does. She's done this with other things too. So you know, that's one thing that really seemed to offend him and the crew. I've seen a lot of messages about it on TikTok as well. Like, people take that shit seriously. And she does kind of make it out like it is a trend to her. Um, and she uses the fact that Moses is Jewish a lot. She'll be like, well, my husband is Jewish and I'm gonna convert and da 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 da. And look, I'm all for people being happy, but I think, and she has talked about this because of her identity issues and not knowing who she is from one day to the next. she does do this with religion. She's just trying to find something she can grasp onto, something to have faith in, something to help her in life. And that's kind of why she goes through religions and cultures and everything the way she does, because she's just like, you guys, Trisha is holding on by threads on her channel, in life, and everything, mentally, physically. She's really going through it. And as problematic as she is, you guys, there is a part of me that does have some respect for her, that she continues to do this, even with all the hate coming her way, and even with everything being thrown at her constantly. She doesn't give up. She doesn't let anyone run her off, and I do have admiration for that. I don't agree with everything she does by no means, but I do have admiration for it. um, yeah, they got married this week. Yes, ma'am, they did. And like I said, I didn't think it would happen. And here recently, within the last couple of months, I've definitely had some issues with some of the things that Trisha's done, but I couldn't help but to be happy for her. Like, that ceremony was cute. I even almost shed a little tear because I'm an emotional nutcase. You know what I mean? So yeah, I am happy for her. And right now, I'm Team Trisha. Damn it, I'm Team Trisha. Ethan needs to stop. Like, I think they both just want the views and the money so bad that they're. Trisha hasn't talked about him though. That's the issue, is she's not been talking about him, but Ethan continues to jab at her. And I get this is personal. He feels some type of way about her. But man, he's going to end up, if he's not careful, you guys, he is going to end up, hey Spooky, he is going to end up losing his channel, because I've been looking over on Twitter. I don't know if anyone else follows him, but he is constantly getting his content took down for either copyright strikes or whatever. Back when the Keemstar thing happened, his channel got striked. Then he couldn't post for like a whole week or some crap like that. And just in the last week, he has been tweeting YouTube like crazy. YouTube, do something about this. My channel, my video got striked. Trying to get his videos back up. There's only so much of that YouTube will deal with, no matter how much money you're making them. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen that happen a lot. People lose their channels for this shit. So I hope that Ethan, like, I know a lot of people like Ethan. I like Ethan. I'm rooting for Ethan, but he needs, in my personal opinion, he has the right to feel however he feels. And when it comes to Trisha and Moses, and I think he should just deal with that off camera and stop bringing it to the internet, because it's doing no good. And I do worry that it's going to backfire on him. Like, if he doesn't stop, I really see Trisha taking him to court, y'all. I see it. I see her taking a lawsuit out on him. What do y'all think? I think she will. Especially after seeing that video last night, y'all, she is not playing around with him no more. Like, she said he was obsessive, he's a bully, he harasses her, all of this stuff. And she said it with, like, she means it. This is how she feels. And Trisha has sued other people for being obsessive in the past. I don't know, you guys. If he doesn't stop, I do worry something like that's going to happen. I do. So, all right. I have to do my hair. I'm convincing myself I have to be here instead. I appreciate it, Tara. I appreciate you being here. Um, what are you doing to your hair? Are you dyeing it? I'm glad you're here, Spooky. Glad you can make it. I hope you're having a good day, not working too hard. Okay, it's killing me, but I don't think she meant to slow chat. Just keep trolls. Yeah. Um, it's killing you. If I had my phone, the baby's got the phone, I would change it. So I'm sorry, guys. I put it on there because I didn't know how it would be. I know everybody's been getting trolled really, really bad lately. I've not been live often, but I went ahead and just made it subscriber only for that purpose because of that. I've seen Tara, she's been getting it rough. Kelly's been getting it rough. A couple of other people I know, they've been having it rough. So I wasn't even about all that, especially with our next topic, which I'm fixing to get into. Hey, Carrie, I'm glad you could stop by. How are you doing, Miss Love? Um, okay, guys. I do see her trying. Yes, I'm glad someone else sees it too. I know, like, it's another one of those situations where no, I don't agree with a lot of the things she's done, but I do see her trying, man. I do. And it doesn't matter so what she's 33. We all learn on our own time. As long as she's trying, that's literally all that should matter. And I do see that, so that it's difficult for me, to see her like that over this situation. I don't know why it was brought up like last night. The only thing I could think of is, and maybe this, once again, this is a speculation or whatever, but in my personal opinion, I feel like this was a jab because he knows this is her wedding week, yada yada. She's happy. And I know he made a comment that Ela made him promise not to say anything until after the wedding. But why are you like biting at the bits to say something either way? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, to get your kicks off of just being nasty when Trisha's not done anything recently. Like, this is all just um vented up stuff that he just keeps bringing up. So that's my whole thing about it. Carrie is my girl, you guys. I'm glad she could hop on here. Um, let's see. I just wanted to give a reminder. Thank you for being here, and Annalena. I don't know. I just wanted to give a reminder about Jana that media lies and twist things. Maybe after court we have a better picture. Sorry, I'm behind. No, you're fine. Thank you for being here, and I agree. As you catch up, you'll see I said that somewhere. I do agree. This is one of those situations we're just going to have to wait and see what happens with court. And I think we will have a better picture then for sure. I appreciate you being here, though. I really do, and putting your input in. Um, it's just a whole mess, whole mess. He has to cut it out, Tira. Like, what in the world is like all the things in the world to talk about? Why are we still talking about this shit? Like, because it brings views. And I'm telling you right now, he has been clickbaiting the shit out of stuff. And Trisha has too. And Trisha's admitted it. He's admitted it. I think views are down for both of them. And he's also grasping at whatever he can. But he's gonna grasp on to something and he ain't gonna like what he grasps on to if he keeps it up, you know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, so I'm hungry and they want to ask questions. I think I missed something. I'm sure I did. Okay, guys. So we're going to go ahead and move into turn this bus around, beep, 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 and get into the next topic. Last but most definitely not least, we're going to talk about the situation with real entertainment news. I know that's what you're all here for. Um, I have been seeing it everywhere, right? And I went back and forth on talking about it, seen people celebrating in it, happy, joy. Um, and so I just wanted to come on here and kind of give my thoughts and opinions, and of course, hear what you guys have to say about this as well, and just talk about it because I do think there's a conversation to have here, an important conversation at that. Let me just say. And I think this is a lesson for everyone. I know somebody, I think it's Jamie. Jamie be smart up in this chat, you guys. I don't know if I've seen her on here before or not, but I really, really enjoyed, her input on everything that she's been saying. This is a lesson for everyone, and I think it's an important lesson. So, for those of you who don't know who Real Entertainment News is, he was a small commentary channel here on YouTube, and recently his channel got terminated. And if you pop it up, I had my phone. Baby's got my phone. But I had all this ready, you guys. But if you pop it up and you look at the picture, which I'm sure most of you have already seen, it tells you exactly why his channel got terminated. Now, as far as I know, I've looked on Instagram and everywhere. I haven't seen. Does anyone know if he's released a statement, if he said anything? I'm kind of curious about that. So if anyone's talked to him or heard anything, you know what I'm saying? Let me know because I am very, very interested to know if anyone's talked to him or if he said anything. Hey, Barbara, thanks for stopping by. Can someone stop giving Mother Nature eggnog, please? This weather needs to be back to normal. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's actually, I don't know where how it is where you're at, but it's beautiful here today. Yesterday it was freezing though. So, okay. Anyways, it says exactly why his channel got terminated. He got terminated for cyberbullying and harassment and things of that nature. He got reported on. This was a huge issue. We all know it for months and months and months and months and months. It went on, it went on and went on. I called it months ago. I actually personally had a conversation with Real, like like way back months ago on his channel. We talked about it. And I told him then, the very few times I went over there, I did try to give Real Entertainment News a chance. You know, lots of people were saying, "Hey, steer clear of that guy. He's dangerous. He's a bully. He's a this. He's a that." But you know, I always want to. I gotta find things out for myself, right? I'm not taking anyone's word for nothing. So I went over there, tried to have a conversation, or he came over here first. We tried to have a conversation respectfully. Everything was great, and then he went to his channel and tried to spread false narratives, right? And me and his beef was honestly petty when it come in the big scheme of things and all of the things that Real Entertainment News is known for. Me and his beef was petty, right? Um, Real is was definitely a creator who always went too far. And this goes back to the comment I made earlier. You start your channel and you get a little bit of traction, you get some views, and you're going to continue doing whatever is bringing you the views, right? And I think that that is exactly what Real did. I know he made comments all the time about how, well, this works for me. This is what works for my channel. I'm growing. I'm growing. I'm growing. And we had this conversation on his channel and I told him, I said, "Man, if you don't slow up, soon one day it's going to catch up with you." And people would get upset. They'd have these tiffies with him and he would say just the nastiest things, racial slurs, profanity out to his house, doxing people, telling people they're lying about their essay, like, guys, just a nasty stuff. And at first I thought it was just a character that he was playing. And I was like, "Oh, this is just a character. This is what brings them the views. This is what brings them the money. This ain't real." But then he still acted like that in the DMs, behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? He still acted like that in the comment sections on other people's videos. Recently, the most recent thing he done, and I don't know if this has anything to do with why his channel got terminated, but he told two ladies on a stream that I'm not really familiar with, but he told them to go unalive themselves. And there is never any situation where that's okay. Never. Never. It doesn't matter. So I don't know if that played a part, if people went and like mass reported him. I don't know. I don't know the whole context in this. I just know he's gone. He's gone. And he is now nothing but a memory. Like 4 years from now, we're gonna all be sitting here. Hopefully, hopefully we're still here. Hey, Selfie Queen Cindy. Hey, J Ro. Hey, everybody. Hopefully we'll all still be here. Kelly. Sorry, I'm just now catching up. StreamYards is just now updating. Um, did I miss anybody else? Here's the thing. Let's see what this says. Here's the thing. Some people think they know how YouTube works and they really don't. I hope people aren't getting his hopes up. I hope people aren't getting his hopes up. Did I miss something else? Hold on. Are people telling him he can get his channel back? Every time I see Negs, I'm thinking it's Megs. Let's see. With the new TOS, I can't see it happening. Hi everyone, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, J Ro. Thank you for being here. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to catch up with chat real quick. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Um, for him to get his channels back or his channel back, I really don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. Um, I don't see it happening. I'm trying to the only times I've ever seen anyone get their channel back, it's been for very minute things. And this is a situation that's been going on for months and months and months. Um, a year, two. How long's he been here? Quite some time, couple year, right? It's been a minute. It's been a minute. I heard that some people are working behind the scenes to help him get his channel back. Okay. Okay. Sorry, you guys. I'm reading chat backwards again. He has been okay. Let's see this. I just hear he has been panel hopping, but not any statements. Doubt that. What can he say? We all know why. Yeah. Well, I was just curious. I was just curious if he had put anything out, if he had said anything, or hopped on anyone's streams because I haven't seen him anywhere. So I was just curious. But yeah, I don't think that he will return. Um, you know, YouTube made it very obvious. Now, I had said a while back, whenever I was talking about this to somebody, and I was like, oh, this is one of those situations when and if YouTube catches wind of it, he's gone. He's gone. And it just is what it is. Not because I want him gone, because let me be real with you guys, okay? I don't wish this on anybody. I know what he is done. I know what he's capable of. I know that there are a lot of people out there that's been personally attacked by him, but it's always heartbreaking to me to see anybody self-sabotage themselves. Self-destruction is a real thing, and it's heartbreaking to see that because I believe in my heart that every human being is capable of doing amazing things. If they don't and they choose to go a different route, that shit's sad to me. That's sad to me, okay? So I'm not celebrating in anything. That's number one. Number two, as much as I disagree with everything, majority, not everything, majority of what happened over there, and that's why I didn't watch, that's why I didn't support, that's why I didn't nothing. I feel like people think, and maybe I'm wrong, you guys can tell me. People think like Real Entertainment News was at the root of all of it, right? But he's not, y'all. This shit didn't start with Real Entertainment News. He wasn't the first one to do what he does. And he damn sure ain't gonna be the last one. There's a lot of people that are doing or creators that do exactly what Real does. A lot, females and males. And I learn more and more every day how many crazy channels there are out there getting away with this shit. And this isn't a celebration. This is a lesson. This is a lesson for anyone doing this crap. Bullying people, harassing people, going real life, threatening people, going after people's family members, all of it, man. Sharing all of it. Telling people to unalive themselves. The constant racial slurs, the constant, everything. He ain't the only one. There's others just like him out there. And I hope that everyone takes note of this, sees it as a lesson, right? That, hey, YouTube is watching because that's the thing. I knew the day would come. It's sad as shit, but I knew it was going to come if he didn't change the way he was doing things over there. Um, and it did. And now YouTube is watching, y'all. YouTube is watching. And I don't think this will be the last person getting their channel terminated. That's all I'm going to say about it. I don't think that Real's the only one that should have had, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's it's sad to me, but I do think that in my personal opinion, I'm glad it's not there anymore. But I'm sad at the same time. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. I would love to see everybody thrive. I would love to see everybody do good, you know what I'm saying? But it was a lot. It was a lot, and I was just every week shocked to see nothing was being done about it. But this also goes back to like what I said before, when it comes to he was doing what he thought people wanted him to do. And when you run your channel like that, doing those things because oh, that's what's others find entertaining, um, nah, man, like that's always going to backfire. It's always going to backfire. And he took it. He was like what I call a troll account, but he was to the extreme. And I'm not here to bash him. I'm not here to celebrate in him being gone. I'm not here to do none of that. It's sad. I know the guy's going through a lot, man, a lot of personal stuff. I think it was all things sassy. I don't know if she's here, but she said something over on Twitter that I fully agree with. Um, she said he didn't need to be on YouTube. Not because of anything other than the fact that he had a lot of personal things going on that he needed to handle. And the sad part about it is, I do believe that he relied on his channel a a great deal more than what a lot of us may even know. So it is sad on that account. And I think that that's what drove a lot of what he done was income. And he was doing what he thought he needed to do for income. It was obvious the guy was going through a lot. And even after everything, my heart still goes out to him. It does. Like I said before, it hurts my heart to see anyone self sabotage themselves. And that is real. That's the truth. Um, so I know I've seen quite a few posts over on Twitter, just like really, really like so excited about this. And I do think it's like, I get it. And I would never, ever, ever try to take away from anybody who sees this as justice or was personally attacked and affected in a negative way from this guy. I know what he did, I know what he was capable of, but I just hope that everyone also realizes that it didn't start with Real and it doesn't end with Real. And this has been going on for a while. I've been watching a lot of nasty shit happen, and I hate to say it, but everything I've seen stems back to the anti KJ community. And there's this like huge confusion of like even Real Entertainment News, like, you know, he trolled, did all this and that and everything, but it's in my opinion, it stemmed from the anti KJ community, the nastiness, and it got worse and worse and worse because a lot of them feed off of that. Gives them something to talk about, it gives them something to go back and forth about, and this is just my opinion, you guys, but there is a huge difference. Let me say, there's a huge difference in doing commentary and being part of an anti KJ community. So this is not a personal attack on anybody, okay? Um, there is a huge difference. And when I think of an anti group, period, I think of we're talking about real entertainment news right now. Um, I think of pure hate. Everything that person does, you take it personal. It's a personal attack on you, even if it has nothing to do with you. You take it personal. So personal that you're going to do everything you can to ruin that person's life, their actual livelihood. You're going to do everything you can to pick that person apart. You're going to dox them. You're going to try to get their kids took away. You're going to put out lies. You're going to try to like involve yourself in lawsuits and police reports and y'all, months, years. It's been going on for so long. And those same people feed off of this everywhere they go. That is the truth. I've seen it with my own eyes, and everyone can have different opinions on it, but that is where all of this stems from. And people play into it. And that's the saddest part. People play into it, and it goes too far, man. People get sucked in and never come back. And that's where I kind of stand with it. I feel like as much as a problem Real was, he ain't the only one. The dark musician said, I genuinely root for everyone to do well, but when that new TOS came out, people should have taken that as a warning. Yeah, I agree. And I hope a lot of people see this as a warning because it's not too late. I think there's some great channels out there that can still switch things up, you know? And listen, I'm not trying to be the moral police here. All real stuff isn't okay. You're right. You're right. I do not think I'm the moral police, not at all. I don't think I'm better than anybody. I get so tired of hearing that shit. I'm just telling y'all how I feel. This is how I feel. I've been in these streets long enough to see the nasty shit that happens. Okay. I've been here for over 2 years. I've seen a lot of nasty shit. I know what I'm talking about. And this is my thoughts on it, you know? Um, Let me go up so that that way I'm not reading messages backwards, y'all. Okay. Um, Facts. It's simple math. I don't wish it on no one, but yeah, yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of where I am. It's sad as hell to me. Definitely not celebrating in it. Definitely think it's really sad. I also think that it's yeah, that's one more that isn't going to be there spewing out that nastiness, but it ain't the only person. It's not it's like Tira said, it's going to get worse before it gets better unless people really see this as a warning and take it as a warning because I'm telling you, I did not I knew one day it would happen, but I did not expect it to happen this quick. And I damn sure wasn't rooting for it. Okay. It's not like I wanted it to happen, but I knew it was going to happen if he didn't change things up. And that's just the truth. Um, I knew. So, but anyways, guys, when it comes to like the anti communities in general, I feel like those people in general, not just creators, right? Some of them are viewers, like you know, and I'm not like attacking anyone personally, but when it comes to anyone involved or a lot of people involved in that side of the community, they truly do feed off of this. And they're always just looking for another target. They're always looking for somebody else to like fill the shoes. You know, they get bored with one, they can go to the other. And they find pure enjoyment out of trying to ruin people's lives and pure enjoyment in hurting others. And that's never okay. That's not what YouTube was for. Okay. And I've seen it more and more and more be acceptable in these streets. So I can't sit here and lie and say I'm not glad to see that YouTube's doing something about it. But I also can't sit here and say that real entertainment news is the root of the problem because he isn't. He isn't, you know? And there is a part of me that my heart goes out to him. Selfie Queen Cindy said, Wildflower, I said that when I was homeless. I focused on getting out of that situation first. He had so much on his plate and his priorities were skewed. I'm sad for him too. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I hope, with all things aside, I truly hope that he can get back on his feet. He's a hustler, whatever. I'm sure he's going to grind to get back where he needs to get to. My thoughts go out to him. It really does. I have nothing bad to say. I really do feel bad when it comes to that part of it because I know he's really been going through it. And then this on top of it, it's my speculation. His channel meant so much to him. So I can imagine what he's going through right now. That's why I was kind of curious about the whole if he put a statement out, anything like that. You know, we're all humans, right? At the end of the day, I will say this to the day I die. I believe that all humans have the ability of doing amazing things. And I hope that this is a lesson for him and to others and that he goes on to do amazing things, man. I do. Is that wishful thinking? Maybe. Maybe. But hell, I'd rather be positive than negative all the time. That's the problem in this freaking community. I'm so, so tired of the negativity 24/7. Really, really, really. Um, Let me see here. I'm going to drop the link. Yeah, let's do that. Hold on, guys. Because that's really all I had to. That's really all I had to say. So if anybody wants to hop on, I'm gonna pop the link up here. Hold on. Boom. There we go. Um, and yeah. So it's been a week, y'all. All kinds of stuff happening up in these streets, all types of stuff happening. It's sad. It is sad. Um, I really can't say much more about it. When I first seen it, I was kind of speechless, not gonna lie. I was like, what? But I knew it was gonna happen, man. I personally think KJ is the most hateful person on YouTube. She's definitely like top 10, J Ro, top 10 in my opinion. Definitely, I agree. Yeah, I've never been that invested in anyone's life, and especially not online. No way. Yes, selfie queen Cindy. Yes, and see that's the thing, Cindy is like it seems that it's more and more acceptable as every week goes by. It's becoming more and more acceptable to invest yourself into other people's lives. People we don't know each other. I don't know you, you don't know me. Why would anyone obsess over another person's life like that? I i don't know, man, but it does seem like more and more people's hopping on that board, and going real life. It's just in all different aspects, looking at people's records, going on your platform to talk about it. It's just, man, having hard drives on people. What in the world? And in my opinion, it all stems back to the anti KJ community in one way or another. It's all connected back. And you guys know, it's true. It's true. That's something I've seen from day one. Hey, Kelly.
Hello.
How are you?
Doing pretty good. I was going to hop on when you got on live, but then I had breakfast this morning and I laid down and I took a nap. So, and then I woke up and I was like, oh crap,
Oh,
Wildflowers
that
live.
sounds amazing. Honestly, naps, anytime someone says, "Oh, I took a nap," I'm always like, "Oh, it sounds like a
Oh,
dream." I
yeah.
dream of naps when I'm sleeping.
Yeah, I dreamt of them when my kids were little too. We were up early today. My son had a student of the quarter ceremony early before school. So, husband and I went to that. Then we got McDonald's, of course. Tira, don't judge me. Got McDonald's for breakfast, ate my McDonald's breakfast, and then I laid down and next thing you know, I'm waking
Heck
up at
yeah.
12:30. So yeah, I'm having a good day, and yeah,
I'm
I'm glad that
glad
I
you got
didn't
to
miss
come
your
by. I was
live.
wondering. Yeah, I was like, I wonder if Kelly's gonna make it by. I think I messaged you before I went live. Um, but yeah, I'm glad you could come by. I'm glad you're having a good day too. It's been so hectic. Like like I was telling them earlier in the chat. I don't know if he was in here or not, but I just realized yesterday that it was the 16th. I still thought we was like at the beginning of December. So when I looked at the calendar, the kids, they get out of break tomorrow. So I looked at the calendar and I'm like, what the fuck? I look and it's like a week and a half before Christmas. What? And I'm
Yeah.
not even close to done with nothing, girl.
No, that last week I was like, dude, I have literally bought nothing, like nothing, not a thing. And I was like,
Yeah.
shit, I'm doing all online shopping. You know what I mean? Like, I need to get on that because
That
Amazon
was
might not get
me.
it before Christmas. And so
Yes.
I had just
That
a power session of 3 hours. And I don't like to shop. I don't enjoy it. I don't like shopping for me. I don't like shopping for others. I'm indecisive. So yeah, it took way too long, but boxes are now starting to come. So it's like, okay, I do feel better. I'm at least more
that's
prepared now.
good. That's good because that's like where I'm at now. I'm in that freak out mode where it's like freaking out a little bit because I wanted to allot myself 2 weeks for it to come in just to make sure. I've got Amazon Prime and everything, so it's always here, but in time. But I wanted to allot myself a little bit of time, and now it's like down to the chopping block.
Well, yeah,
um,
and there were several things I put in my cart, and then it was like, this won't arrive till after Christmas. And I was like, crap, throw it out of my cart. And then I'd look again and
yeah.
I'd do a lot of like, oh, shoot, that won't make it. You know what I mean? Oh,
Hmm.
shoot, that won't make it. And it's like, then everything said it would make it. It placed my order. And then there was just one thing that was like, mm, change. It might not get here before Christmas. And I was like, well, it's for the husband. So he'll understand. At least it's not for like the kids or the
Right,
daughter.
yeah,
He'll
yeah.
understand if it was late. So
That's what I told my husband when he was like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I said, "Honestly, because everything's just been so rushes this year, I was like, we can worry about Christmas after Christmas. Like, just let's focus on the kids and get it done, and then we'll talk about it." Like,
yeah, because when you have little
because
ones, that's what Christmas is for. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
for them,
yeah,
and it's to create memories for them, and that magic that is Christmas is the you know what I mean? Like that's you.
that's
That's a
yep,
mom, that provides that magic, and it's a dad that provides that magic. So I can remember plenty of times when our kids were little where they'd get up and they'd be like, "What'd you get, mom? What'd Santa bring you?"
yeah,
And it's like, oh, nothing, you know what I mean? Like, but it's okay. Mom was good.
hmm,
It's just that, because yeah, when the kids were really little, they had to come first.
yeah. Yeah, and he asks me every year, and bless his heart, he always gets me something, even if it's a little like a little decoration to put on my wall or
Mm-hmm.
something. It doesn't matter how hard of a year it's been, you know what I'm saying? He gets me something, and he's so sweet for that. But I tell him all the time, don't worry about it every year. Don't worry about it. Let's just focus because that's like you said, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. And no, it's not all about presents, but I mean, we'd be lying if we say it's not at all about it when you have kids because it is a little bit.
Well, for them, you know what I
So
mean, when they're little, yeah, there's that, what I mean, that moment when they come out and they look at that tree as
the
little
magic,
kids.
man, the
Yeah.
magic of Santa Claus is real. The
And it
spirit,
does go away. You know what I mean? Here I'm
it
sitting with,
does.
you know
And
what I
I'm
mean, my
just trying to
youngest
soak
is
it all in.
17. He's just like, meh, you know what I mean? He knows, obviously he's 17, right? So he's aware of all the secrets. And it's just he's 17, so he's not as excited. He doesn't really care about the Christmas tree. And so when they are that little, you know what I mean, definitely cherish that just
Amen.
that
That's what I'm
magic
trying to
that you
do.
know what I mean, that they get so excited about because it does eventually go away. Um, and that makes
Yeah.
Christmas hard. That's part of why like I struggle sometimes during the holidays is it's like it's not the same as when they
What's
were
the
little,
point?
but
Yeah.
we did,
I
like I
get
said,
that.
we did our best
And I'll
this
do the
year.
same thing. I know I will because as much as I stress out all the way up till Christmas, Christmas Day makes it all worth it to me. And, the days following up, like the couple of days before Christmas Eve, all of that,
Mhm.
it all makes it worthwhile for me because the kids just seeing it in their eyes, how excited. Last night we watched a Christmas movie, and my son, my 8-year-old, he was just so like asking so many questions. Well, how Santa Claus do this and how Santa, and I know all families do things differently, but I'm gonna soak that in as long as I can.
Yes.
And I've never lied to my kids. I've never, but my mama told me growing up, Santa is real. This Santa is real. The spirit of Christmas is real, And she told me that all these years, told me the story about Saint Nick and all this stuff because it originates from our actual story,
Right.
and went through all of this. So it's so real. And I believed for a long. I think I was like, how old was I? I think I was 12. I mean, fairly older. You know what I mean? Before I realized the truth,
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm gonna try to do the same with my kids. People can judge it all they want, but I want to see this. Selfie Queen Cindy said, "Wildflower, you are right." And when Terry used to say it, I hated it. But you guys are right. The anti-KJ community set a precedent, precedent on bad behavior. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I've been here and I've seen a lot of it because let me tell you, and I think there's a lot of people, because I used to hate it too, Sandy. I really did. But I think there's a lot of people that get involved unintentionally and not even realizing that they're getting involved in it or that they're playing into it, because it is easy to do. And, but there are certain areas of YouTube that I stay away from
Yep.
fully because they're anti KJ. And everything that happens over there, it ain't for me, man. And I see it's all connected in some way or another. And the same people are in the same areas. And the same
Yeah.
thing with Reels channel and other channels. It's all connected back to that. And you see all these things that's happened to KJ, you know, and not just her, but other people too, like T Mom. It originates back a long time ago, these people. And they've been doing the same thing to different people for years and years and years. And I'll say it forever. It will catch up to them, and it is catching up to them. This is just a prime example of it. It is catching up
It is. And I
all
agree.
of
The
the
bad
time.
behavior was
Yeah.
ignored. It's
Hmm.
ignored against without a crystal ball because of that extreme amount of hate for her. So it's
Yes.
like, oh, well, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like they say, when someone says, like, don't bring up her child, right? Because kids are off limits.
Hmm.
We hear that all the time. We know that. But there's always an excuse made. Oh, well, she talked about him.
It's
Well, I don't
accepted.
care
Yeah.
if she talked about him. You know what I mean? That's on her. That's not, we can be better and do better. You don't have to bring up her child or her mothering when
Hmm.
she just listen, she does
And
enough wrong.
even further than that, police reports. What?
Mhm.
CPS, police, like that's what I'm talking. All of it's bad. Talking about the kids, talking about her
Yes.
appearance, it's nasty. But when you're going to those levels, and that's why I say I believe it does hit that level of obsession where everything she does, they take it personal. They take it
Mhm.
like because they hate her so much, that it becomes a personal vendetta and they'll do whatever they have to tear her apart. And the more you look into it, like it's so deep and so complex, but it's been going on with for a long time outside of Katie Joy with other people. And then you see them turn against one another and do the same shit to one another. And
Yeah.
it's just so toxic. It's so awful. And I remember, on Reel's channel when the shit started happening over there, he's always trolled, he's always done whatever, but it shifted. And when it shifted, they came on in. A lot of them was over there, and they, you know, um, and other places too. Like I said, I am a firm believer. Real is not the root. I think a lot of people believe that real was the root of the problem. I don't think that. I don't think real was the root of the problem. It didn't start with him. It's not going to end with him. And, Tara said it best. I do think it's going to get worse before it gets better. But I also believe like YouTube is actually like keeping an eye on things. I think so. Like I didn't expect anything to come of this quickly
Oh, I
because
did.
you did. Well, see, my thing was I thought like a lot of people would have to do something about it for it to be seen.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
when
just
I
from
saw,
experience in the past.
yeah, I think it was definitely the comment that was
Yeah.
directed at Chesh and Dottie. And when I seen it all over Twitter and Team YouTube
Mhm.
was tagged, that's when I was
Okay.
like, okay, I think something's going to happen. And I
Yeah.
kind of popped in when you guys were talking about it. And like a lot of you, obviously I don't celebrate what happened. Like I'm not over here jumping up and down throwing a party. Also not surprised,
Yeah.
but I will say there was an immediate weight lifted off of my shoulders
Yeah.
yesterday. There
Mhm.
was less anxiety just navigating the platform because I
Yeah.
have not responded to him. I have not made videos. I am not one of those people that went back and forth, yet I continued to be a target. He continued to watch, continued to poke, continued to tag.
Yeah.
So now I know that I can exist on this platform the way I have been, ignoring him, wanting nothing to do with him, and I don't have to watch my back to see if I'm going to come up in a community
Yes,
post
ma'am.
where he's threatening
Or a
to dox
video.
me, you know?
Yep. Or a video.
I
And that's the thing about it is, there's a fine line there and being a troll account and going too far. And there's just some things, and I know people feel differently about it. It's not about a cancel culture thing because I fully believe, and I've said this forever too, when it comes to cancel culture, people being canceled, no one can cancel you. You cancel yourself, and he canceled himself. No, like I'm not in support of anything. He did this, you know? No one else did, nobody else, nothing. He done this. This is on him. This is a lesson for him. So I'm not trying to pile on to that. I feel like, I'm sure he's kicking himself enough probably. Um, but yeah, I'm not surprised by it by no means whatsoever. I don't wish this on anyone, but there's repercussions for the things you do, and
yep,
this is not accepted. And I think that's the biggest lesson that a lot of people in that side of that corner of the community need to realize is that type of behavior isn't accepted. It isn't okay. And for anybody, not for real, not for anybody to be telling people to unalive themselves or putting out people, threatening people. Like when he got mad at me, he was like threatening to, I don't know, said weird stuff about it was just weird,
yeah, he went for he goes for
my real life, like
yeah, your
threatening
real
my
life.
real life.
He talked about, you know what I mean? He was like, let me talk to her husband as if I'm a kept woman, which let me just tell you right now, like my husband thought that was
That's,
hilarious. Like, what are you gonna
yeah,
do? Call my husband and he's not my daddy. He's
yeah,
my
that's weird to
husband.
me. It's like you want to have a petty back and forth all day, fine, whatever. Like Spooky said, there's people out there that love to watch the drama, love to watch the petty back and forth. Do that all day long. But
Yeah,
there is a line there, and he crossed it multiple, 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 multiple times.
I
So,
agree. Yep. And with multiple, multiple, multiple people.
yes,
And
ma'am.
I mean,
Yeah,
I know that there's like, I mean, of course, the people who support him, right? There's theories and conspiracy theories. And I seen where Selfie Queen Cindy had said earlier, like she was kind of getting blamed. The thing is this has been going on for a long time. And I'm not
yeah,
somebody who goes and like flags every video of someone, right? Now, the
uh-uh.
videos he made on me, okay, where hotlines were popped up, yeah, I reported those. Those were on me.
Mhm.
I reported them. You have to assume that the same thing was happening with other people who were having videos, whether it's me, Tira, Josh, Cindy, JJ, PJ, whoever, right? You got to assume that they probably flagged at least one or two videos that were about them.
Right.
Then he did what he did to Dottie and Chesh. And this battle with him and Roadhog, that had a whole
Yep.
bunch more people hitting the flags. And I think that it's happening both directions.
Yep.
Um, but like everybody, I agree. This is on him. This is not on anyone who reported him. It's his own behavior, and YouTube themselves decided, because again, Katie Joy still has a channel. So,
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
And she's not going
YouTube.
anywhere. That's the thing
Right.
is I don't know what the end goal is there. And there's a difference. I see Spooky said, she sees her face everywhere. It would be a long block list. I think that there is a difference. And this, even if I'd never spoke on Katie Joy, this is my honest opinion. There is a huge difference in commentary on Katie Joy. There's plenty to talk about that she actually does, right?
Yeah.
And being part of an anti community, being a part of that anti KJ community that's not really going based off of what she's doing in the moment. They're going to drag up everything from 10 years ago to 5 years ago. They're going to be like, doing all that, like with the Tati Westbrook lawsuit and people like going back and forth about like trying to make accounts, like the whole thing. It's when you're going to those extremities to like make sock accounts to obsess over someone else or try to ruin their lives or spin a nasty narrative or whatever because you want to see her go down so hard. Anyone involved in that, dude, what in the world? And then it wasn't just a lawsuit. That was just like the first time I seen it publicly. But since then, I've seen it more and more and more publicly. People going to like large extremes to try to bring her down, and they're only going to bring themselves down in the end of it, and anyone involved with them will get brought down with them. She's not going to go anywhere, and if she does, just like real, if anything ever happens, she'll do it to herself. She doesn't need help. She doesn't need help. And so commentate on her all day long. She does plenty of things to commentate on, but to try to literally like ruin her life and her livelihood, like for what? Like literally
I
for what?
agree. And for any creator, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
absolutely.
I only watch two people who cover Katie Joy. That is you and Renelle. Those are the only two I watch, because the rest of them don't necessarily stick to the points. They go for the low blows. They go for the
Right.
personal things, you know.
Mm.
And yeah, is her chin crooked? Yes. We all know it. We all see it.
Yeah.
Can we stop
Yeah.
talking? Like, that is not like, hello? That's not a thing that's
Mhm.
hurting anyone, her chin. Now, her lying, her defaming people, that's the ticket, you know.
Spinning
Hi,
nasty
Josh.
narratives, being a bully. Yeah, hey Josh.
Hey.
I didn't want to
I
keep
don't know how
Hey.
long he's in the back. Because I didn't look. I suck at live streaming.
No, it wasn't that. I wasn't in there that long.
I'm glad you're here though. I'm glad you can make it. But yeah, that's how I feel too. I feel like at the end of the day, there's plenty of things that she's doing currently to talk about, and I have been like staying away from it a little bit, and not talking about it as much. I think it's been like a good month since the last time I talked about her, just because it does get to be too much. Even as someone who just commentates on the shit, the comments, some of the comments are too much. Like it
Mm.
is very draining, and the hate that people have for
Yeah,
her, it's real. It's real. And
it is.
it's hard for me to understand it. So that's very draining. And even though I see it for what it is, I dislike her as well, like her character on the internet. But the way I view um, YouTube and the internet and different platforms, I think is different than maybe some other people do, because I don't look at like you, Kelly. I see you as a person, right? I know you. We talk. I feel like I know you. Same thing for Josh. But Katie Joy, I don't know her, right?
No,
So I can only go based off of my opinions on the things she does, but I don't know her, so how can I hate her?
that's
Right.
exactly what I used to say when I've said
Yeah, I
used those
don't know
exact.
her. I dislike a lot of what she does. And I can
But
talk about that, but I
yeah,
can't sit here and be like Katie Joy is anything. I can only go based off of what I see, you know.
Yeah, true. That's me. I don't know her. What I know of her, I don't think we'd be friends in real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, from what
Oh
she
yeah.
showed, like, you're not my kind of girl.
Spooky,
But
that's awful. I don't
you know
know
what I mean?
who
But I
said
don't
that to you,
hate
but you're
anybody.
awful.
You know, on the internet especially. Like, because I had someone in my comment section that was like, I know you hate real. And I was like, first of all, I don't hate anyone because that takes way too much energy for me to hate. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
hate's a
Like,
big word. People throw it around like,
Yeah.
man, you don't have to like someone and still not hate them, you know?
yeah, I dislike several people, but hate?
My
No.
mama told me
Mm.
growing up, hate means like you wish death on someone. And so I couldn't even say the word hate growing up. She'd be like, that's the worst word you can say. That and something else I can't remember. And,
Stupid was the
I
one
tell
in
my
our
kids the
house.
same
Like,
thing.
yep.
Hate is a big word.
It
There's
is.
real, it's a real definition behind it. And to feel that level, I don't know, it breaks my heart for a person that really has hate in their heart
Hmm.
because that only is affecting them, you know?
And that's exactly it. It does.
Yeah.
When you have hate in your heart or you hate somebody, you are actively putting forth effort to hate, and
Mhm.
that's only going to backfire. You know what I mean? It's karma
Oh,
is
yeah.
Yeah.
karma. If you hate
True.
somebody, guess what? That hate is going to ricochet off of something at some point, and you're going to get that back.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
And this
Absolutely.
everyone say it, there is freedom of speech. There's just not
Yeah.
freedom of
Yeah.
consequences, and especially
Yeah.
on YouTube. There's rules.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Um,
there's rules and not just rules, but it's like on top of that, you're allowed to say whatever you want. You're allowed to say how you feel, and that does cause issues in the commentary community as a whole
Mm.
because people disagree with one another. And I try to when I do disagree with someone, I try to do so respectfully, but everyone goes at things differently. So, one person can disagree and they're going to go to like it's the end of the world over a disagreement on an opinion. I
yes.
try to
Mm.
not let it get that deep. It should never, in my opinion, get that deep. And if you feel that strongly of hate or disgust for another human being. For me, I don't watch with Real Entertainment News. I didn't hate him, but I very much disliked the content he put out. So I would not click, and I would get messages from people telling me like what he was doing and
Yep.
stuff, and I'm like, man, I don't even want to know because it's too much. And I know when something's too much for me. Katie Joy, I do not watch Katie Joy. There's plenty of stuff on Twitter and Reddit. I don't have to ever watch her, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Um,
That's you can get all your
Plenty there.
information there. And that's what
Yeah.
I've been doing. For me, I'm like you, not so much messages, but you see bits and stuff on Twitter and all
yeah,
that, and messages here and
Yeah.
there, and people asking me, and it was like, no, I literally, whether his video is about me or not, doesn't matter who's in the thumbnail. For me personally, I couldn't watch him. That's my own shit. That's my own baggage. That's my own thing
yeah.
because of my, you know what I mean? Like my own thing. He triggers me.
Yeah,
So I
no,
don't
I'm the
watch him.
same way. If
Yeah.
if someone makes a and that's what I tell Tara, and I hate to use Tara as an example, but she's the perfect example, so I'm going to. Um, when people make videos on her, no said person, but people in general, I know it's so hard not to click. I know from experience, like when someone puts your name in a title, it's so hard to not click. But I try not to, me personally, because I know if I do, that's going to trigger me. And then I'm going to want to say something back in return. And sometimes the best response is no response, honestly, because
Yeah.
if you see it's not going to go anywhere, right? Or it's not going to bring anything going to change about this subject because sometimes you can respond and defend yourself and respond and respond and respond all day, but if it's not going to do any good, you're just wasting your time, and I ain't got time to waste, so I'm not going to do that, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like for me, I just if a video is being made about me, and not many people, not many people have, but if a video is being made about me, and somebody says, "Oh, this person said this about you," I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
that's they're entitled. Like everyone's entitled to their
everybody's
opinion,
entitled. Yeah,
but also I get
it's hard
bored
not to take it
very.
personal when it's about you though.
Yeah, it is, and like I will admit, sometimes I've gotten heated.
Oh, me
Um,
too. It happens where I mean, We're human,
And
right? Like if someone's talking about you, of
yeah,
course you're going to take that some type of way, you know?
yeah,
Right.
and you want to respond. Like your instinct
Hmm.
is to respond to
Yes.
a
I
lie
respond.
or to something
I've
like that.
responded almost every time and then I'll delete it the next day because I know like there's literally no point, right? This person's allowed their opinion, whatever. But in the moment, it's like, duh, you know,
Yeah, in
and
the
you
moment.
respond. But I regret it every single time because I know it's not worth my energy and I know it's not worth my time. And the moment you respond, then there's that back and forth, and people expect you to
Hmm.
continue responding, continue to defending
Yeah,
yourself.
but at that point, like, no, whatever. Like, I just get really, really. I'm like, okay, so I like if someone said something about me, I respond to it, then they say something back. I'm just like, okay, now I'm bored.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm
That
like,
going back and
I'm
forth
just like,
is too much.
it's
I'm just
too
now I'm
much.
bored. I need something else.
Yeah. And see, and it took, I mean, listen, I had to have a support system in place for me to not respond. There were
Mm,
definitely times when I wanted to
yeah,
respond to the videos he made on me. Um, and you know what I mean, where it was because I knew like it was one of those things where like I'm gonna try and defend a lie, which is impossible, right? Like I'm walking into that trap because I can't defend a lie. Um, but I wanted to, you know, and I had to get in a couple people's DMs that I knew weren't going to coddle me, weren't going to enable me, weren't going to sugarcoat me. They were just going to
mm,
slap some sense into me and say, do not respond to him. And my husband was a big part of that. Like, I'm not going to respond on live on the internet, but I have a captive audience of one who's going to hear my full opinion, even though he has no idea who anyone is.
yeah.
You know,
I
and that was
also
big
my
helpful.
partner's the same.
You know, and
Oh,
even
yes, ma'am.
having
I agree. Like that's been my saving grace more than once. It's just, and it's good. And I know not everyone has that someone that they can talk to, but I'm blessed. I'm so grateful I do because there's been many a times that instead of hopping on here and saying something, I would just bite my tongue and just rant and rave to my husband about it, and he listens.
Yeah,
And sometimes that's all you need. You just want to get it out because you feel
yeah,
so much better once you do, no matter what the situation is. I'm not one, I said this on my video on my second channel. I'm not one that is good at keeping stuff bottled in because it affects me mentally, physically. It
same.
does. If I try to, it piles up. And
Yeah,
so if I feel some type of way or something's going on, I have to just say it. And, or, I'll explode, honestly. So I can't keep stuff in. I'm not good at that. Um,
no, because
and
it's
so
toxic. When it's
it's
in you,
toxic, it is.
it just
And I think
ferments.
mm,
too, what I've noticed is the back and forth, when it becomes this back and forth, that's when it hits that like real, from my experience watching it, it hits that real life level because sooner or later it's like you run out of ammo. So then you're going to start
Hmm.
dragging up shit like records and
Yeah, that's
looking into,
exactly it.
mm,
yeah,
100%.
that's
Yep,
how it
they run
always
out of
starts.
the points to argue. There's no more content or criticism, right? So then
yeah,
it's like, oh, well, the only thing that's left is the low hanging fruit. And now, I mean, everybody's going for the low hanging fruit, and it's like, oh, you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like,
Yep.
and it has been an exhausting space online.
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
You know what I mean,
It
lately with
definitely
all the
has.
fighting and stuff. And, you know, between Roadhog and Real, and then the groups of people that have kind of, I don't know, gravitated towards those fights, right?
Yes.
And
Hmm.
who
Yes.
have soldiered up for whichever creator they want. And I know a
Mhm.
lot of people are
Yeah.
upset right now, you know, but those people do like, they need to maybe just self-reflect themselves and
Yes.
ask themselves, if I'm okay with him saying what he said, I don't care how you feel. Forget that it was Dottie and Chesh, okay? It's two fellow creators. If they're okay that he said that to two people, that anybody, you know what I mean? If you would be okay if I said that to two people, you need to self-reflect and ask yourself why you're okay with that. Because if
Yeah.
it's simply because you dislike those people that was aimed at, then the people who are supporting that need to look inside themselves. You're not responsible for his behavior, but self-reflect and see what it is that allowed you to be okay with that. And that isn't even anything to be ashamed of. I'm one of those
It's not.
people
Yeah.
who I apologized to PJ because before I had my falling out with Real Entertainment News, I sat in a chat and I listened to him go for her, and I was okay with it because of my not liking her.
Yeah.
And that's not cool. It's not something I'm proud of. It's something that I felt very badly about. And I had to apologize to her for me. And so I'm hoping those people that, and on both sides, Roadhog too, it, that are supporting some of this stuff, that they can self-reflect and say, why am I okay with this? Because if it's because I
Yeah.
hate the person that it's directed at, maybe I need to do some work, because it should never be okay for those kind of things to be said.
You're right. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
said
right.
the same thing. And it's important that you are able to internally say that. Like if you're on a stream or you're in a chat and there's the things being said about other people or other situations, and you feel comfortable enough to reply and respond, and you need to reflect on that, and you have to be able to look inward and say, okay, you know, why was I capable of doing this? Especially if it's a situation that you don't really want to be a part of. You don't want to insert yourself, but it does happen. You can
Right.
find yourself in situations not even meaning to. And that's what I meant with the
Mm.
anti-KJ community.
Yep.
I know there are so many people who were just watching because they were interested in what was being said and got involved unintentionally. It happens, but it's how you handle that when it does happen. Moving forward, you can see it as a lesson and not do it in the future, or you continue putting yourself in those predicaments and situations.
Right. It's up to us to learn from it,
Yep. And reflection
and
is key. And there's nothing wrong with reflecting. We all got to do it, right? Like we all need to reflect sometimes.
oh yeah. I mean, I'm somebody like, listen, I reflect every hour
Every
of the
day.
day. I'm like, oh man, let me overanalyze what
Well,
I
let me
did
step
there.
back.
And
Yeah.
and I gotta, for me, sometimes I get clouded by that, right? Because I just assume, well, everybody else is doing that. And that's not true. Not everybody else is overthinking the
I
reply they gave on
know.
Twitter. You know what I mean? I'll
Some people
overthink
don't
that for
get
an
it.
hour.
Some people don't get it. And that's the thing. Like when I try to explain it sometimes to other people, it's like they don't understand, and because they don't overthink things like that. But for me, it's like I overthink everything. So,
Yeah.
any situation that I find myself in, I truly do reflect on it. And I know everybody does things differently, but I think that it's important to learn lessons and to be open minded and not closed minded on everything in life. Because I mean, dang, life is short, and if you're closed minded, you're gonna miss out on a lot of opportunities. You're gonna miss a lot of stuff. So I
Mm.
try to be open minded in everything, but it can be hard to
It
not
can.
be biased on certain situations.
Oh, 100%. That's like how you said
Yeah.
with Tira. You know what I mean? Like if I see someone's making a video on Tira, I'm not going in and watching it, because I
Right.
know in that
Same.
moment, especially, I am going to be going in there with a bias. I'm not open minded. You know what I mean? I might need to take a couple days before I watch said
It's
video
hard.
about
Yeah.
somebody. And
And
that's
that's what
about
I've
anybody that I
really been
support.
working on. I've
But it
really
is
been working
hard.
on that.
It's hard. And I think
Yeah.
we all have biases naturally. It's not that it's done on purpose. You have
Not,
people that you connect with. I've connected with
yeah.
both you and Josh. The
Yeah.
fact of the matter is, I could sit up here and say it all day long, don't make it true. I am open-minded, but I do have biases.
Biases.
I
Yeah.
I know you and Josh and like Tira more than I know Selfie Queen Cindy, right? I know Jamie more than I know Police Wife Life. It
Yeah. I
doesn't mean
think
one's better than
everyone
the
has
other.
a
Yeah, it's just the
right.
connections you made.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think we all of us viewers, subscribers, we all make connections with people here, and we all have a bias in one situation or another. You know,
Mm.
I try my best to be unbiased in the things I cover, but that does not mean I don't have biases in other aspects of my life. um, or other situations. And if I do, I choose not to cover them just because, or I try not to, just because I know then that makes it really difficult to see all sides of the thing of the spectrum and be able to be like, okay, I can see
Mhm.
from this person's point of view and that person's point of view. If I can't do that, then I try not to make content because it can come off very insensitive to the other side of things, you know? And I never
Yeah.
want to
Right.
like do that either, you know? I'm not trying to like I know it's impossible not to offend somebody on the internet, but I'm not out here actively trying to piss people off because I have a bias, you know?
Right. And I think that subscribers actually really need to hear that because as a creator, I have felt the pressure to speak on certain things. The
Yeah.
Roadhog Reel situation was one of those things that I felt pressure to speak on.
Right.
However,
Yeah.
I'm not speaking on that because I would be speaking from a place of bias. Don't know Roadhog at
Mhm.
all, not a bias of liking him, but a bias of how I had been treated by Real. So why
Right.
am I going to speak on it when it is going to be brought up that I have a bias and I can't sit there and lie and say I didn't? I did.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I did
Yeah.
have a bias, 100%. And so subscribers really need to keep that in mind because we hear like silence is complicity, right? No, not all the time.
Not all the
Silence
time
sometimes is simply
is the
just
best.
that. It's just
Ex-
silence. It's I want nothing to do with it. I
Yeah.
don't want to be involved in it. For me, it was like, why would I purposefully go out into that field and put a target on my chest again?
yeah.
No, I know what it did to me. I know how it affected me. And again, Christmas is coming up and my state of mind is more important than anything else, you know.
Yeah.
And so I didn't speak on it. And like I said, there was pressure there. There's people who try to insert you in stuff. And it's
Mhm.
like, listen, you can do what you like. If you as a sub have an opinion on it, StreamYard is free and you don't
Mhm.
even have to show your face. You can just
Nope.
get an avatar like the rest of us. You don't even have to have an avatar. It could just be a gray square. Um,
Yeah. I
you
can.
know,
Yeah.
and you can just give your voice. But to pressure other people to give their opinion or speak on something, especially something that was that toxic, right? This wasn't just like, oh,
Yeah.
did you see what happened? This was real life. This was scary. It was
That's
heavy. It was dark.
yes. And
And my
I've been in
kids,
similar
no, thank you.
situations like that. I've been in very similar situations like that where I felt pressured to speak on things that I truly should not have been speaking on. And you know, it's difficult because people use it, kind of weaponize it against you whenever you have the reputation of being unbiased or you have a reputation of being open-minded. They want to hear your open-mindedness on certain situations, but if it's real life or personal, I can't speak on it because for like you said, you know, it gets too it's too much. Not everyone's built to be discussing real life, personal, toxic things like some people do out here. And I'm not here for it. You know, I'm not trying to affect my own mental health by being on YouTube. This is fun for me. I use YouTube as a tool for
Mm.
entertainment, for fun. I'm not actively out here finding that stuff entertaining. You know what I'm saying? And when it does involve people that I respect, I damn sure don't want to speak on it because no matter who it is, if I have respect for that person, and there's very few people I don't respect on here because I feel like everyone's trying to do their thing and work hard. And even if I don't like their content, I have respect for almost every creator on the platform. So when it is a personal situation or within the community, a lot of times I don't feel comfortable on speaking on it just because of that said purpose. There's so many things out here that's so personal, and the second you speak on it you get yourself involved, and then people expect you to go to that same level that other people are going to. And I'm never going to be out here doing what some other people do. I will never be out here putting out a hate campaign on others, um, looking up people's personal information, sharing screenshots. Somebody mentioned that in chat, sharing
Yeah.
screenshots that a creator sent me. You are never, I can promise on everything, you will never see me doing those things unless I have
Mm.
like a good legitimate reason, and it would have to be like a legal purpose.
Right.
I'm
brilliant.
not going to do that. I'm not ever going to actively participate in that.
Right. And I think that that's a good point,
Mhm.
the screenshots, because it's like what you were saying. If you do make a video, right, chances are, even if you're unbiased, which you usually are, it will still ultimately get twisted. That is a
Yeah,
Yeah.
guarantee. And it
yeah,
is because of those screenshots, right? The person that might come back at you probably didn't even watch your live stream. Somebody else watched it. Somebody else interpreted some shit. Somebody else screenshotted, sent it their way. They don't go look any further, right? They're not sitting
Mhm.
through a 2 hour live stream. They're taking the word on that. And then they're like, oh, this is the word I got. And now I'm pissed because this is what was going on over there when it
Yeah. Or
wasn't.
like a
It's now been
1 minute clip.
twisted. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it gets made, I mean, it gets, you're just
It
going to
gets
get
spun
torn
out
apart.
of,
It gets dissected. And it's
and it
like,
Yeah,
happens a lot. It happens
it
in
does.
everywhere. It's
it
not
does.
just
It's not
one
just this little
person.
community.
Yeah.
It
It
it it
happens a
it,
lot.
it really does.
And that's why, I mean, I said early on when I had my thing with Real, don't send me stuff. And I meant it with every fiber of my being. The universe will make sure that I see what I need to see. And that happened.
Mhm.
People didn't send me stuff, but I would come across stuff in comment sections that had nothing to do with him, right? That wasn't his. It was somebody else's video. I'd go to leave a comment. It's like, oh shit, that's my name. What does that say about me? You know what I mean? And it would be
Mhm.
about something he had said. So those things the universe showed me. But as far as like getting in my DMs and being like, oh, this person said this about you, or this person, especially like random subscribers. Okay. I think I'd feel different if like you, Josh, popped into my DMs and was like, hey, saw this said about you. Are you okay? That kind of thing is different than just like the random subscribers that are doing that kind of messy stuff. Because there are a lot of them that are doing it,
There
that are
are. There
kind of
Yeah,
are.
enabling this back and forth,
Yes.
this excitement. And I guess I have a different definition of excitement because none of that shit was
Yeah.
exciting to me. It was
And
exhausting
yeah.
and draining.
mm,
It's very that's the see in that and you're so good with your words, Kelly, because everything you're saying I resonate with so much. And that's why I had to
oh
step back
yeah,
because even if it's not personally towards you, right? If you get
Yes.
involved, whether you intentionally or unintentionally, just by speaking sometimes, all you gotta do is talk,
Yep.
right? And it doesn't even have to be on the situation. You just opened your mouth in the wrong time at the wrong place.
Yep.
You get
that can happen.
involved and then you're in this like cycle where people are emailing you or messaging you expecting an answer, they want a response. And sometimes, like you said, it's best not to respond because either one, if you don't have all the facts, one, two, you do have this strong bias. There's so many reasons why the best thing is to be silent. That's what I've learned in my own time here, is it is always better in situations like that to just be silent. But even in that silence, a lot of people need to realize, even like if I'm being silent on a situation, mentally, it's still draining. I'm still
Yeah,
seeing it. It's still happening. I'm just choosing not to involve myself. I'm choosing to not participate because I don't want to be in the middle of it. Like
yeah,
I said, when I came here, nobody could have told me that out what I was in store for. I had no clue about any of this. And then you learn, we live, we learn, and we grow from that. And there has been situations that I found myself in and look back on, and I had nobody to blame but myself for the situation. It wasn't nobody else's fault. I put myself in those situations, and I can say that, but at the same time, it wasn't intentional. So I do try to have grace for others too. I'm not going to come on here and talk shit about Cindy because she was over here while so and so was talking about so and like, no, that's not what I use my channel for. I know everyone utilizes their channel for different things, but I
yeah,
do try to have grace towards other people because a lot of times they don't know the whole story, or maybe they do have a bias, and we're all just individual people.
yeah,
um so, in my personal opinion, being quiet, being silent on it, or just continuing to do whatever it is you want to do on your channel is always the best route to go because it lets people know, hey, I'm not here for this. I'm not participating. I'm not supporting this. I'm going to keep doing what I do.
Right. 100%. Yeah. And I agree
Yeah.
with Jamal just said. He was talking about like as creators, we have to kind of sift through some of that BS that we get in our DMs. And then he said,
Yeah.
it's because I'm looking at the whole picture. When you receive certain DMs, you have to take into account who is sending it and why. And that is
Mhm.
so important because the person
Yeah.
sending you that screenshot and then figuring out the motive, it's kind of like Xylie's rules for a hit piece, the who, what, where, when, why. As creators or even subscribers, ask yourself when you get those kind of DMs, ask yourself those 5W questions, because what is the motive behind them sending it? Is it
Yeah.
simply, I'm worried about you, I care about you, how are you, I seen some stuff said, or is it one of those people who is kind of a little bit involved in the mess and, and,
Enabling,
and kind
trying to
of
get,
puppeteering
yeah.
things or moving
Yeah.
pieces around, and what is their motive? And I agree with Jamal. We gotta,
I do
as
too. Jamal's
creators,
smart. I'm telling
he
you.
is,
He
he is
is.
smart.
And there's so many of you guys. I do want to take the time out to like honestly, especially in the last couple of months, let's be for real. It's been rough. It's been
Mm,
rough over
Very.
here. And
yeah.
if it wasn't for certain one, my viewers, you Kelly, you Josh, Tira, Jamal, definitely Jamal, and other people just being there to like talk it out like this. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I could have made it through it because you don't get
Yeah.
a manual for how to deal with shit. You have to figure
No.
it out as you go, and each situation is different than the last. So you kind of have to go through it to learn the lesson and to, figure it out. And going through it is not fun, or being told about yourself is not fun. It's never when if there's any truth in anything someone's saying, for me personally, like if someone says something, I can watch it. And I don't know if everyone else is like this, but if someone says something about me, I can watch that and be like, shit, they're right. And not automatically get mad that they're right, but I kind of beat myself up about it. And then I have to go through the process of reflecting and be like, okay, what could I have done differently? How could I have responded differently? But I but that goes back to each situation is different and you just kind of learn as you go. And
Yeah.
it can be difficult if you don't have support. It's really difficult. I know there's a lot of
It
people
is.
out here that are constantly getting hate. I could not do that. Like if it was 24/7 just hate, hate, hate constantly, I don't know how people get through that. That's, you know,
I think they kind of turn it off a little.
that's the only thing. Taking a break, cutting it off, taking a break.
Yeah.
But I know like Katie Joy, she never takes a
Yeah.
break. And she gets it
Yeah.
all the time.
But also look at how Katie Joy reacts to everything. It's
Yeah,
it
she
it
feeds into yeah.
yeah,
So
she goes, but she goes from 0 to 100 in a very small amount of time,
you're right. And I
and
think
that
there's a part of her that and this is just like a conspiracy, but I think there's a part of her that feeds off of it too because it keeps
yeah,
her relevant
yeah,
and her channel grows from that. And I think a lot of people can take that negative and turn it into that. Some of us
yeah,
aren't built like that. I'm not
no,
built like that. Um, not because of any other reason other than like my purpose here is to not be spreading hate. And if people are like, if there's a problem, like if there's a pattern, right? If I'm showing
mm,
patterns like Katie did, I'm a firm believer that anti communities, they don't just start, they stem from patterns, and you see these patterns over and over, and people get irritated and annoyed, and then they start making videos on it. And then there's a community out there
yeah,
speaking on all these patterns.
uh,
I
and
personally am the type of person where I want to grow. I don't want to stay in that place. So if there was like a pattern of things I was doing and someone calls it out and says, Wildflower did this, she does this every single time. I do take that to heart and I want to change that and I want to see it, you know, live in that moment and figure out how to change it because I don't want to be someone that's constantly in the same bad pattern of behaviors. I
but
want to learn and grow, but I know not everyone is like that. Some people are set in their ways.
yeah, I mean, I'm I'm very set in my ways. But then I also know my flaws.
Yeah.
Um, so, but if someone's pointing out like your flaws or like your patterns of behavior and stuff like that, I mean, let's be real, none of us are perfect. And
Yeah.
guess what? We all have a pattern of behavior, whether that
Mhm.
be good, whether that be a good pattern of behavior or a bad pattern of behavior. We all have a pattern of behavior because we all have patterns, we all have habits. We like
Exactly.
as people we do. So we all have them. It's
Yeah.
just it's not so nice when people are calling it out all the time, and you're like, well,
All the time. Yeah.
this is like it is very difficult for somebody to change who they are as a person, and that is what these anti
People
communities.
expect it to happen overnight, and that's just
Yeah,
not the way it works. It takes
no,
time. It's a process.
yeah,
And I think it's kind of silly too for all of us to expect people to change overnight, you know?
yeah. I mean, none of us change happens very, very slowly, um, because it happens slowly as adults, especially over the age of 25, because that's when our brains are like fully formed.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to change someone's life or behaviors or stuff like that because A, that may be all they've known, and B, it's just get my words out. Behaviors, we all have one. Like we all have behaviors, good, bad, in
Mhm.
between.
We
We've
all
all
have
got
flaws.
them, and like if you hear me without coffee, I am like, I am just like the Grim Reaper. We like
Same.
Right.
just
I'm a whole
Same.
pain in the ass.
I
Like,
yeah,
completely
listen, I
relate.
know that
like
I'm like with or without coffee. Okay. I am, I'm a whole pain in the ass. And like you were saying, Jack, change is hard. And I'm
mm,
41. I am definitely set in my ways as far as my patterns of who I am as a human, um,
mm,
good and bad. You know what I mean? My bad habits, my good habits. And that is a hard thing to like remember that, like, well, not everybody is
Well, see,
going to be like me.
my thing is, and maybe this is a better way to word it, but I try to be like, ever since like I over these things where it was a pattern for me. It was a habit. I did it every day for over 6 years and it became my routine. It became a part of me. I was an addict, you know, I will always be an addict, but I had to change those things in order to live a healthier life, in order to be a better mother, be a better person. It's so many
yeah,
things. And that did not happen overnight, but I was open minded to it. I wanted to I wanted to grow. I wanted to be clean. I wanted these things. And so I
yeah,
try in all not all aspects because sometimes people just be picking things like just random flaws and petty things and you can't change everything about
mm,
yourself because then you're not yourself. But there are
yeah,
situations where you can look at at things and be like, okay, I continuously do this thing, but say I don't want to be a part of this or a part of that, but I continuously insert myself into it. That is a me problem. I need to work on that. I need to, reflect on that and say, why do I continue inserting myself into this or into that? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And
It's always good to work out the why of things.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
It's like
And it does, but it doesn't happen overnight. And I think it's kind of like we as a society have turned into like expecting people to be perfect all the time. And the second someone makes a mistake, man, we just drag them to the end of the earth for it. And it's like we all make mistakes. None of us are perfect. Even the people that are calling out the bad behaviors, I'm sure they're not perfect and they've done
mm,
things, but it's easy to do on the internet because you know, we're all behind a keyboard and we can say whatever we want and there's no repercussions for it, or at least that's how a lot of people go through. And then you see situations like this with Real losing his channel, and it is an eye opener to a lot, or at least I hope it is, that there are repercussions for the things you say, um, for the things you do on the internet. You know, you can't just be a keyboard warrior. um, there are repercussions and you can go too far. It does affect people's mental health. And, you know, whether you care about whoever it is you're talking about or not, it's not acceptable. And sooner or later, it will be seen, whether it's by YouTube, TikTok, wherever, it'll be seen and you'll be put out.
Yeah. Well, right. And Tira was right. And it kind of goes on what you said. You know, like with your addiction, you couldn't, and that's with anybody who's addicted, right? They have to want the help in order to get the help. And that goes for even just changing your patterns of behavior online.
Yep.
Don't
Yep.
change for other people. Change for
for you.
yourself. Because if you try to do it for other people, it's not going to stick. Your changes aren't going to be long term. It's not gonna be a lifestyle change. It's kind of like a diet. You know what I mean? It's only gonna work for a little bit.
You have
to do it for you because you don't like the way that you're behaving, and you don't like the way your behaving makes you feel. You know what I mean? And that's a big one for me. Like
it in your real life too, not just on the internet, you know? Because I think all of us too, or at least for me, as much as like I share on here, you know, there are parts of me I don't share on the internet. And so it's kind of, they're two separate lives. You got your real life and then you've got the internet, you know, and you only share so much over here. And you have to, the lessons you learn on here, if you use them in your real life, it can make a huge difference too, because sometimes you don't even realize it, like whatever's an issue until someone does call it out. And it's not always a bad thing. There can be a lesson there. You know, you can learn and grow from it. But if you're closed minded and see everything as a personal attack, you're not going to grow from that. You're not going to learn anything. It's only stunting your growth, you know, and hurting you. And it's like I said, there's no manual for the internet. You just we all learn individually different things as we go. But I do think it is important, you know, commentary in general, I think is a important community, because you do learn a lot by listening to what other people are saying or how other people feel.
Right. And you learn a lot by watching other people, like just watching other people get themselves into something. You can learn a lesson from that and learn kind of not, you know, what not to do by witnessing what somebody else did and saying, okay, well, that didn't work for them. You know what I mean? Like the going back and forth, there was no benefit to that. So let me put that in my memory bank, file that in there. And hopefully I will remember that the next time I'm in a position to want to, just because I was good with Real, I didn't respond, but there was other people who I didn't even give it a second thought. I seen some ish and I was like, let me take one drink of this coffee and then hit go live.
Right.
Not my best moment. You know, but you got to learn from that. You know, you learn from that.
Yeah,
and Tira was
absolutely.
one of those people, you know, and a lot of people probably be like surprised, right? Because I know that so many people, you know, and Tira knows this, right? They have all this stuff to say about her, but Tira's got a really good head on her shoulders, whether people believe it or not, because Tira was one of those people, after I did do a response video with one drink of coffee in my system, who was like, listen, I know you needed to do this, a little too many, you know, of the B words for me, for my liking, but like, I get where you were coming from. I support you, girl, but you know, kind of just a heads up. And I was like, I actually really appreciated that, because I didn't see it as too many B's. You know what I mean? Right. I was be this and be that and be this. I was in it. But to have somebody just come to me and say, yeah, you know what I mean? And you need people like that in your corner. And you know what I mean? I consider myself very lucky to have only been here for such a short time. And I have a handful. It's not just one. You know what I mean? I have a handful of people in my corner, mainly creators, that I know will come to me and say, listen, you know what I mean? And they support me, right? They're not, it's not that they don't support me. That's why they're coming to me. They're coming to me and saying, hey, you know what I mean? here's this part that maybe, I mean, don't necessarily agree with this part you did. And I welcome that. I need that, because in those moments, in that moment when I reacted,
You
all I
didn't think
saw
of that.
was right. All I saw was red, no pun intended. I just saw red, and I just went off on somebody. And you know what I mean? Getting somebody in my DMs that I trust and that I respect to be like, you came in just a little heated, it was like, you're right. I did. I
Yep.
definitely did. And that's in my mind now for the next time I want to react, if I react, to just, take a couple deep breaths first, maybe get a whole mug of coffee in me instead of just one sip.
Yeah,
That
like
might reduce the level of, how many B's I say in 1 2-hour stream, because one sip of coffee wasn't enough.
you needed that whole mug.
And Tara's like, what were you doing hitting go live before you drank coffee? And it's like, I wasn't thinking. You know what I mean? Like I woke up, I got on my phone like I do. I seen a DM. I was like, this B. And then my coffee was made. I poured it in. I took one drink. I was like, I'm going live. Oh, I'm going live. But I know next time, like, take a breather. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hit up Josh on
Exactly.
Discord, rant to him. Hit up
Yeah.
Tara, hit up you.
Sleep on it.
Tell my husband. Like I said, the last time I got really upset about something, my husband was the one that got 98% of that. He had no clue who anybody was. You know what I mean? It was a whole lot of whole lot of nodding his head and just agreeing with me, because he doesn't. Of course, he's got a bias, but having that, and then being able to learn and say, okay, I can reach out to one of these people and kind of maybe not unload on them, but kind of use them as a sounding board a little bit instead of just getting on live.
Okay, so before I became not before I got get my words out, before I got so involved in like this YouTube thing, I would quite happily go around my friends. This was a few years ago. I do go and see the friends, but when I see them, it's a soundboard. Like, she'll tell me what her issues are, I'll tell her what my issues are, and it's just a soundboard. It's just we don't necessarily we're not here to fix any problems. We're just there to listen. And sometimes when you're in that state of, this mother effer is really getting on my nerves, I'm seeing this stuff, all you need is that soundboard, because once you've ranted the version that your kids don't want to hear,
Right.
then you're a little bit calmer, and when you're calmer, you can approach things with a more logical sense.
Yeah, and sometimes
Yeah,
sometimes you're not going to be logical. That's something.
Yeah.
It's okay to have a reaction where what you're saying isn't logical, and because you're heated, you're emotional, and when you are that emotional, logic sometimes goes out the window. But knowing the difference between where you can kind of be illogical, you know what I mean, and knowing like it's safe for me to kind of drop some of my logic, and like Josh said, just have somebody there that's willing to say, listen, just throw all your crap at me and I'm going to catch it. I'm not going to put it in a box
it's
and wrap it up for
important.
you. I'm just going to, you just hand it to me and I'm going to take it and I'm going to set it over here for you so that you're not carrying it. I'm not carrying it. And then we can both look at it over there on the floor. And now we can kind of maybe analyze it over there once we've gotten rid of our weight that we've been carrying. I think that that's so healthy. I hope that everybody on this platform has somebody, whether it's someone in their real life or another person on the platform, that they can trust. And that is hard to do. It's hard to find somebody who you can rant to and know that DM goes nowhere, or that phone conversation, goes
it is hard.
nowhere, but it is possible.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, I've only been here a few months, and it is possible to find those people where you can just go in on somebody,
and that's the thing
right
too.
there.
And that thing too about it is like people can like say things about other creators, but you can only go off of your experience, right? And so it's like, if your experience has been the complete and total, that's why you can't go based off of what another person says about anybody. Because if you do, and this is a situation, I've been in these situations, not even give someone the time of day because another creator put out all this content and it was so blah, blah, blah. It is always important for you to go see it for yourself, whatever, and make your own, gather your own opinions, because that's not always the case. And your experience isn't going to be someone else's experience.
Yeah.
And I've met some amazing people that other people are like, "Oh, this person's horrible." But that's not my experience, you know? My
Yeah.
experience is completely total opposite. And I think it's really important too to be able to have people in your corner that you
Yeah.
can connect with and talk things out, even if it is, something going on the internet, or even whatever your personal life, whatever. It's
Right.
important to be able to talk it out in order to grow. That's a big part of growing too, because if you have another person's perspective or point of view, you can, especially if it's someone you respect, right? You're going to listen to them and you're going to take what they say and actually utilize it, take it to heart, and you know that they're being genuine, you know that they're being honest with you, which, as it is hard to find, but it's not impossible. um, there's a
No, it's
lot of
not.
people that I've connected with on here that's been a big part of my own growth, just internally, not even anything to do with my channel, but just internally.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, and
and
that
it's
whole like,
important.
yeah, what you said about like, not just taking people's words for it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Um,
you can't.
it's
You
so
just
true
can't.
because when I first got on here, I had all kinds of people in my ears telling me about all kinds of people, right? I mean, I would have no friends on the internet if I listened to all the people because somebody had something to say about everybody. But I'm going to use Josh as an example. I didn't know much about Josh, other than
Okay.
like kind of the crowd that he ran with, right? And I avoided that. I didn't try to get to know him. Um, Not that I had heard anything bad about him. I just was like, no, thank you. I'm going to stay away from that side. But
Mm.
then I got to know Josh. And had I just continued to be that close minded and not open up my mind and not like see who he is as a person, I would have been missing out on something because having opened my mind and getting to know Josh and going to his streams and connecting with him, Josh is one of those people that I have become very close with. And we talk in Discord and in DMs, and we're a lot alike. We have a lot in common. He's
True.
willing
Yeah.
to just listen to me,
Yeah,
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
bananaramas and the same, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
neither one of us are judging each other. And had I been so close minded, I would have missed out on that. Same thing with
exactly.
Kira. Okay. And Tira knows this because Tira knows there's a whole bunch of people that don't like her. Had I listened to every single person that was like, oh, this, I I wouldn't have found what I found in Tira. And what I have found in Tira is priceless to me. And I am grateful for it. And I am thankful for it. And I'm glad that I didn't just listen to people because then there's a chance you're missing out on something, Again, someone else's
Absolutely.
experience is their experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
You
would
know,
never I would never take away from anyone else's personal experience with anybody. Everybody's different. And I think that at the end of the day, that's really what it boils down to. We're all different people. We all, connect over different things. We all relate on different things. And it's crazy because some of the people that meet, you'd never think, "Oh, I would connect with that person," but you could, if you're not
Yeah.
closed-minded. It's important to be open-minded, to give everybody a chance, everybody. There's not one person, even if I don't speak to them today or dislike their ways on the internet, that I've not at least given a chance, because I think that's important too. You can't go based off of one mistake 5 years ago, or 10 mistakes 6 months ago. You can't go based off of that. You have to give people a chance to
right,
either prove you right or prove you wrong. And when they do, the one or the other, you go based off of that. You can't go based
Yeah.
off of what others say, or another person's experience, because that's their experience. You have to have your own. And like I said, I respect everybody here, and or majority of everybody here, and I want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the only way to do that is by having my own experiences with everyone I run across, giving people a chance, not being so closed-minded. What I've noticed when it comes to petty drama on the internet, a lot of it does kind of stem from believing someone else, not going and seeing for yourself, but just kind of hearing what one person says on another person and running with it and saying it as fact. And that's a issue.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
not, just assuming because they're friends with somebody that they must be
Right.
like that person. That's
Or
not
like you
true
said,
either.
yeah, or you see a 1 minute clip of someone's nasty behavior and well, that's who they are. That 1 minute clip
Hmm.
sums them all up. And it's just not that
No, it's
it's
not
not
true.
that black and white.
No,
Yeah.
because like, what I mean, if I was recorded all the time, I
We're
would be
all
just as hated
human.
as the most hated person on this platform. Like, what I mean, if there was a camera in my house, if this was Big Brother, what I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a whole pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's what
It doesn't always
I'm the
come
same way.
across on my lives, but at home, I'm a pain in the ass.
Yeah, me too.
But and
Yeah.
going off your own experience, there are lessons to learn in that. I had several people that told me, look out for real, right? But when I supported him. And,
Mhm.
when I no longer did, I did feel bad about it. Like I felt like, oh man, I messed up. Like, how did I not see this? Like it was somehow my fault. And it was like, no, actually, I know that I was the better person for not listening to all the crap, for waiting until there was a personal reason for me. You know what I mean? When I started to see the things instead of going on what had happened 6 months before I got here. And I've had that happen a lot with a lot of creators. And they're like, oh, you need to go back and look at this. No, I don't. I'm not going back and looking a year ago at somebody's content before I decide to like say hi
Like,
to them and be
oh,
friendly with them. That is
okay.
ridiculous.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm seeing it a lot recently, of people saying, well, go and watch all of their content, go and watch this and go and watch that video, go and watch this video, that video. A lot of people do lives now, and lives can last 10 minutes up to, I've done a
8
live.
hours.
Yeah, I've done a live for about 4 hours before I could be like, oh, I need to get off. But so, to the people that keep on saying you need to go and watch all their content, a um much to popular belief, I do actually sleep, um and I don't have the time nor the patience to sit there and watch somebody's content from the start right up until now. Like,
Right.
I
Especially if
like,
someone's telling
we'll
you to
be
go watch toxic stuff,
yeah,
right? Like,
we'll be here forever.
yeah. Hey guys, I'm gonna have to go. I gotta go pick up my kid.
Oh, thank you for hopping on. I was getting ready to say, I just didn't want to be rude. The kids just got off the bus. Kaylee, I appreciate you. Josh, I appreciate you guys so much. It's always a great conversation. It doesn't matter where we're at. You guys are amazing. And I appreciate y'all coming up here and chit chatting with me and everybody in chat. My
Yeah.
my Rugrats just got off the bus and it's about to get real rowdy. So I'm gonna have to hop off too. But I appreciate y'all and I will see you guys on the next one.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good luck with your
Thank you
kids.
for having me too.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
They're saying bye. So cute.
Aw.